Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
What is going on, A2D family? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory, live with Jimmy Smith, Jake Friel, Ryan Brodo, Tom Arno, Mr. No Notes himself, and Ralph Delavecchio. Thank you so much for all of you guys joining and everyone tuning in. We appreciate you. Oh my God, I'm literally like shaking just thinking about football, just getting pumped up before this. I am so jacked. Tonight's show is brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal. Check him out. He is in the Cherry Hill, Princeton, and Burlington locations. That is at specializedphysicaltherapy.com, Specialized Physical Therapy LLC. Check them out. He's our doc. Make him yours, Dr. Paul Vidal. Also, check out our gutter guys. They are the gutter guys of New Jersey. That is Ambuck Services, AMBUCK Services.com. Also, check out all A2D merchandise at PhillyDrinkers.com. Philly Drinkers, you can find them all over social media. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My Lord, it's going to be a wild night tonight. We are only days away from week one. The Washington football team. What a great name. What a great name. Great name. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight, guys. And thank you guys for joining us. Ryan, how you doing tonight, brother?
Jimmy, it doesn't even feel like real life. It seems like on Wednesday we were talking about it, and it was like, is it really this Sunday? Now the fact that we're 2 days away, and we already had one football game already happen last night. I feel like I'm still in a dream, and I'm just waiting to get woken up from it. And if this is indeed real life, I can't even wait. It's unbelievable that we're finally 2 days away from this.
Unbelievable. Tom, how you doing tonight, brother?
I agree with Ryan. I mean, I'm right there. It's like snuck up, and then probably because there's so many other sports taking place right now that it's usually you get that little down period where it's just baseball, and then you go into football, and everything takes you into the next sport essentially, right? Well, we didn't get that this summer. We got everything at once, which was glorious that it all came back and was at once. And football sort of, from day one they were like, all right, we're going right away, and we're all like, okay, you guys say so. And they've had the longest chance to be able to pull off their product. And, it looked like it worked well on Thursday night. And obviously the game wasn't good. But, I mean, besides that, just having football back was delicious. And Sunday at 1 o'clock, let's go. I mean, it's here. It's strange it's here because it still feels like it's almost summertime. Everything just feels crammed together. But that being said, let's go. Division rival, got to get off to a good start.
Well, let's go. Ralph, how you doing tonight, my brother?
Man, it feels good because it feels like tomorrow will be Christmas Eve, right? Santa's about to come to the house, drop off presents, tomorrow night while you're sleeping, and then Sunday comes and we got Eagles football, baby. I can't wait. Up there goes Jimmy. So welcome to On the Road to Victory. I'm Jimmy Smith. What I was saying is that it's great, man, that everything's so quick now, right? Because Tommy, you were saying that everything's so together now with the NHL still going on, MLB and the NFL starting up now, and the NBA still playing. That usually you have the downtime with the baseball going on, then you jump right into football. But it's amazing, man. It's amazing that football's here.
Sorry, man. I got too excited. I hit the back button on that. I was like, you know what? I had to keep the fantasy draft thing going on. Why don't we go ahead and just jump out here? Didn't mean to do that to you. I was like, oh, my God, dude.
Got to maintain your composure.
Yeah, man. We got to just keep this going, baby. This is Friday night. We got to keep things wild. John can't wait. We can't wait. My co-host, Jake, always great to have you. How you doing tonight, brother?
Good. It's just crazy to think back in March, everything was shutting down and all the craziness that's going on, and we're more than 6 months into it still. Obviously, numbers are down a little bit, which is always nice. But again, it's just sports came back a little over a month and a half ago now, and I know a lot of people were talking about, there's going to be no football season. We're not going to have football. Had our first game yesterday, so it's exciting. It's just like you really can't believe it how fast time has gone by since March, and the fact that football season's here on Sunday. I'm beyond excited.
I'm with you. I'm with all of you. And I think everyone watching right now is with us in spirit. Losing our minds. I can't wait because, like Tom said, it just kind of snuck up on you, right? You're just sitting there enjoying, well, no one was enjoying it. I'm being very facetious. We're sitting through quarantine, being tortured. It all just, boom, hits us in the face. And we loved every damn second of it. We got it. We loved it. We're enjoying it. Whether or not your teams are still alive or not, that's a different story. But we loved it anyway. Just like Tom said, hey, football wasn't back, right? It was back last night. Not the greatest of games, but it just gave me the taste. And I know that means that this right here, that's what's going to get me excited. And that's only days away. Days away. His son Jordan turns 4 on Sunday. That's Mike here. Party Saturday. We're all going to be partying for your son in spirit as well. I will be throwing a happy birthday out to him. We're all partying. Dude, Tristan, I can't wait, brother. Woo! Let's go. Let's have a great show tonight, guys. Thank you so much. And Tom, I know you're a busy man, but why don't you start us off tonight? We appreciate you coming on tonight. I really always love having you. So why don't you let us know how you feel? Do you think this is going to be a day where Carson Wentz throws for over 300 yards, has himself a day on that Washington defense? Keep in mind, Kendall Fuller is doubtful. That leaves Ronald Darby in the gang.
Well, I mean, I agree to the poll question. I mean, I think he slings it. I mean, he's healthy, right? I mean, soft tissue doesn't. Where was the soft tissue injury at? I don't really care about soft tissue. It didn't limit him to the point where he couldn't get his work in, right? There's guys that he is familiar with enough, right, out there. When you talk about Zach Ertz, Deshaun, just in their small sample size, you could tell that worked last year against Washington, okay? And then Greg Ward, you saw their relationship. Okay, and then obviously JJ has another year here with Carson, so it's not like he has a ton of new pieces around him. Miles he's comfortable with, right? So everybody around him, Carson's comfortable with, right? You would have to assume, okay? Now the only guy you might say he's not would be Jalen, but that we'll see how that pans out without any preseason football or a lot of time to work together. But besides that, everybody he's had the ability to work over a year with. So I think that bodes well for Carson Wentz. I think he's going to sling it. The only thing that scares me with the Washington Redskins is that front 8. And I mean front 8 because they got 2 rotations of linemen coming on in at you. That's the only thing that scares me. Besides that, their secondary stinks. All right, their linebacking core stinks. And the rest of their team really is suspect and pretty much stinks. So this isn't a good football team. Now, we know the NFL. We know how it works. You never know how it's going to go. But at the end of the day, I think he has a big game and throws for over 300 yards easy in this one.
Love it. And yeah, you talk about that front 8 exactly. You got guys like Kerrigan on your second unit and Ioannidis. That front 4 is quite the nasty combo. You got Sweat, Payne, Allen, and of course their first pick this year, Chase Young. So thankful for
Wonderful.
JP. Thankful for JP to be at left tackle because we can't have Matt Pryor or Jordan Mailata playing there. That would have been atrocious. So whatever money had to happen, whatever, dude. Like literally, and then Lane Johnson restructuring, freeing up $5 million. That helps us for next year too, because that carries over. So love you, Lane. You are the fucking man. Anyway.
Real quick, Jimmy. Real quick, a lot has going on in Washington too. Just not on the football field, off the football field, everything. So, and then a new head coach, right? And then a new head coach who sort of had to answer all these questions and deal with everything and be
what he's going through.
Yeah, and then have to Zoom call his players to get to know him. Think about that side of it, right? I'm thinking about all that. Now, this is a defensive-minded head coach, but it's hard to get your defense and your stamp on it without the work, right? Unlike here in Philly. So I think that's another reason why I think our offense is gonna play really well on Sundays. I don't know if that defense is ready to go when you have all them moving parts. Besides the ability to just go get the quarterback, we know what they can do. But besides that, it's a lot. It's a new scheme. I mean, that does matter. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think that another thing that just goes well when you're talking about for the Philadelphia Eagles and Carson.
for sure. They've been going through a lot, and all of our prayers and well wishes to Coach Rivera dealing with cancer and all that stuff too. So it's like they have a lot on their plate, and we all know what the issues. I mean, we're calling them the Washington football team. Like, we know what they've gone through. So they've had a lot going on there. They drop AP because they like their young running back, whatever. It's fine, Danny. So I 100% agree with you, Tom. Great point. Ralph, why don't we get to you? How are you feeling about this poll? Do you think Carson Wentz goes for over 300 yards in this game against Washington?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he goes for more than 330. I think it's just he just comes out and slings it around, man, like it's backyard football. Like Tommy was saying, their secondary's ass. I'm sorry, it sucks. Landon Collins is really the only one guy that's back there, but I mean, he's not really a guy that strikes fear into you pass coverage wise. He'll hit you, but pass coverage wise, he doesn't scare me. Their linebackers are atrocious, almost like ours. And their corners, I mean, the next one is Fabian Monroe. I mean, is he really good? Nothing. I mean, Nothing special out of that. And good old Ronald Darby. So be nice to burn Darby a little bit on Sunday with D-Jax over the top. Maybe hit him with a little Jalen Rieger as well. But I agree to the poll. I think Carson goes over 300.
Love it. And they're going to have to use guys like Jimmy Moreland too, So you're talking about Fabian Moreau, Ronald Darby. Yeah. Because guess what? We got Jalen Rieger. That's right. That's something we're going to talk about because he was full in practice and it looks like this tough little son of a bitch is ready to go. So I'm a little bit excited. Not going to lie to you. Saw Joseph's comment a little bit ago. He talked about D-Jax and Rieger going off for those 60-yard bombs. That's what we're going to see. And that's a little bit about, what Tom and Ralph were just mentioning right there, It's time to watch Carson play with his toys. And Washington, you are the victim. Ryan, love to hear your thoughts about the poll.
I also agree, especially when you factor in, number one, what you just mentioned, Jimmy, that is, it's one of the rare occasions, it feels like the last, year and a half, 2 years where Carson actually has weapons to throw to. So it's like, hey, how about this? We could actually see Carson use the team that it was designed for, not like friggin', and no disrespect to Greg Ward, but somebody like Greg Ward who's just kind of thrown in there, practice squad-esque. Well, and it's also because somebody said like, "Oh, is Greg Ward off the team?" No, he's on the team. It's one of the few times where he's actually
starting.
Starting exactly. I also think he's going to go.
And what did he throw for week one last year against them?
Oh yeah,
like 300 some.
Yeah,
300.
I'll look it up real quick.
So,
yeah,
I think, and he had 5 300-yard games. I think 2 of them were Washington, weren't they? Maybe
I think so. Yeah.
Because he had the weapons week one. I mean, it wasn't for long, but he had them going in. We felt good. We were like, oh, we got toys, and then it came to fruition in the second half in Washington. So I was just curious, Ralph. Let me know. Go ahead, Ryan. I was just curious. I feel like he did.
And I also believe he's going to go way, comfortably over the 300-yard mark, just because you look at the status that's kind of up in the air with Miles Sanders, to where it seems that if he's going to play, they're not going to really rely on him as much as they would if he was 100%. I think we can all agree. And we don't know what's going on in the friggin' medical staff and in the locker room, because
they never run the ball early in the year a lot. It's not their MO. So I don't expect them to run the ball. Any back get 20 carries. I mean, they might run the ball 25 times, but no back's getting 20. So to your point, like it's going to be a spin fest.
I really think it's going to be a showcase of what we've kind of been alluded to the last handful of years of the 2 tight end sets. You're going to be seeing a lot of explosiveness with the speed. Because to Ralph's point, Tom, Jimmy, you guys all kind of touched on this before. You can really get and expose the Washington football team's secondary very early, especially with you look at the the lack of health and the injuries, especially with Fuller. So I think we're really going to see a showcase of what Carson can do throughout not only week one but all throughout the season. Please God that these weapons actually stay healthy. But no, I think it's going to be all about what Carson can do. And I think we're really going to be excited after week one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
So he threw for 313 yards last year with 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Yeah, so I mean, I expect the same kind of party this year for him too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly what we're feeling. I think the only thing really scaring us, right, is the fact that Lane Johnson's questionable. They came out today with the news that he had a little cleanup on his ankle, a little surgery back in August. Like, oh, thanks for telling us, ass. Anyways, we all know that we would have probably burnt the city down if they gave us that news while we were dealing with everything else. So they literally tell us this today, and that's why he's been missing training camp. Now we're scared. Like, who's going to be a right tackle? Mailata, Driscoll? Like, oh, my God. So you got to worry about that. But Miles Sanders is questionable, but they've been talking about these guys saying, like, they're just being precautious. And you got to be. It's pointless to hurt him in training camp. So you got to just hope that that's what they're doing. Derek Barnett also, he didn't practice throughout this training camp, but they're saying, he might play. Only thing is, on the other side, we're missing 2 guys. We're going to miss Jeffrey. We all assumed that, but then Hargrave's also missing. So that sucks. But Johnson cannot miss this game. We're talking about their defensive front. I think, when you guys talk about it, Tom hit the nail on the head. Someone asked me this earlier today, how many times do you think we're going to run Miles? And I said, man, with him, first off, having that injury and the way I see this playing out, maybe 15 times, right? And Tom said, maybe 20, 25 times you're running it. Exactly. You're giving Corey Clement, you're giving Boston Scott a few carries in there, but it's scary, but he's obviously going to be getting the rock a lot because you have to establish the run against a team with a defensive line like that, or they're going to demolish Carson Wentz back there. So I think we will get the run going, but I don't think we're going to destroy Miles Sanders this first game. I don't think we're going to run it super heavy. So that's why this was the poll question. This is why I felt, this is going to be more passing. Not saying that Miles Sanders isn't going to go off. I just don't think it's, like Tom said, going to be a 20-yard, carry game for him. But
I wouldn't even play him in fantasy this week, honestly.
I wouldn't. No, I would be, a little cautious with that.
Yeah, I would avoid him. I think Dallas Goedert's got to be a big part of this game too, and just pass block.
Love it.
Just pass blocking alone. Like that other tight end is going to have to come into play just to keep some of these dogs from getting to him. You know what I mean? Because they're going to be coming. They're off leashes. So we got to expect them to be off leashes on Sunday and be ready and be hunting. So we got to. We have to do our best to protect them any way we can. And I think with the weapons on the outside, we can do some of them things and still be okay.
Yeah. Agreed. And that's what we're talking about right now, coming for you, kid. He's questionable, but we're hoping so. But maybe not like saying a light load. It's just not where, like Tom said, where you'd want to play him and feel comfortable. Like, oh, he's going to go off. And he might have a huge run. Don't sit here and say, like, I'm not playing him. He said don't. He said it. It's just be careful, we got to establish the run. I think so. So, but with Rager back, oh, Lord. Deshaun Jackson, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and then Greg Ward in the slot. But Tom said it, Dallas Goedert, and then Zach Ertz is your tight ends. I think it's time to play, guys. This offense showed people what it can do when it's working on all cylinders. And then it showed what it could do with straight garbage. So now we're going to find out what it can do with some real playmakers. And I can't wait. And it could be a close game, Chi. I agree with that, because it's a division game. You can't, and I've talked about that throughout the week that, let's not get carried away because some people have been like, yeah, it's going to be 44-3. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm feeling the energy, brother. I love it. But let's calm it down. We remember last year what happened. And, that last game where we got the turnover ran in for a touchdown, that was beautiful. But, it's like that was Dwayne Haskins putting on a drive to come and try to beat us. We were leaving him in a position. Clearly, this team is in a much better situation. But you never know with this COVID BS. And, we might have some things, a little rust to knock off. And this team is, a lot of new things going on. So I still think we're going to whoop that ass, though. Let's just keep that. Let's just keep it real. Now, Jake, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what do you think Carson Wentz going to do in this game? Do you see him going for over 300 yards? What's going on to everybody?
Yeah, I agree to the poll as well. Pretty much what everyone else said on the panel. I think it's just Washington has too much going on right now on the field and off the field. And just, I really, more than anything, I just want to see Ronald Darby just get toasted over and over and over and over again. That's all I want.
Yes.
That's all I want. That's all I ask.
How do you guys, can I ask you guys something? Can I ask? I got to ask. I got to ask all you guys because I've been hearing it a lot. What's the Ronald Darby hate? Like, I mean, he got banged up and he wasn't the guy he was, but he was one of the reasons and a big reason that helped us win a Super Bowl in 2017. That's all. Yes. Like, now I'm good with him. We can burn him all day, but I'm just not looking for him. That's all. I don't care enough to look for him. He won me a Super Bowl. He was a big part of it. And it's just like, hey, injuries caught up to you, in my opinion, because you were a good corner when you walked in our doors. Yep. You were a good corner. You were considered a one-ish, right? So you were considered like us getting that guy, and He got. Don't worry. I mean, he got some toast. He had some
He
toast.
won us a Super Bowl though. Yep.
But he was a big part of it, and then the injury. So it's not like he didn't live up to anything, in my opinion, because he actually gave us more. So that's all.
No, you said it, man.
I've been hearing it. I've been hearing the Ronald Darby game for too long. I don't care enough about Ronald Darby. You know what I mean? I want to beat the brakes off a football team. That's what they're called, a football team.
I think most people are most excited about the fact that I know for me, now you're right. There's a lot of people, they just want to hate on people. So they're just losing their minds about it. But for me, it's the sweet satisfaction of knowing that he cannot keep up with Deshaun Jackson nor Jalen Reagor.
Yep.
So he's going to get that ass beat, or whether it's like Ralphie was saying, and I threw in Moreland at the end. They're all done.
Pick six. What happens if he has a pick six? What are we doing? Oh my God, we're talking
you know
into
what you
existence.
do. If
I
he
was
has
a
a
Darby
pick six,
fan.
you know what happens, right? After the game, you trade for him. You bring him back.
Yeah. Hey, I was excited. Tom said it when he came here from the Bills. He was a number one cornerback. I was excited, and I was excited throughout. He helped get us the Super Bowl, man. So people love to hate on people, but it's like, look, man, sometimes they get contracts from division rivals. You can't. This guy sucks. Like, you're gonna hate Trotter forever? No, because he came back home and he did some pretty damn good things. So I never try to hate on these guys, especially now getting older and trying to make connections. So
I hate on guys, just not like my group. There's like,
I know. Oh, I know. You will.
There's them Super Bowl guys that I gotta just always like, no matter if I'm like,
That's right. That's the core. They helped us get that. That's it. You said it right there. If you helped us get that,
I
you're
just brush
bleeding
them
green
off.
for
I
life,
just brush
baby.
them off, Sam. Jimmy, we just brush them off. That's all.
That's right, brother. That's right.
You get a free pass wherever you go from here on out. Let's see you later.
No, you're right. Exactly. And it's, even Nigel, it was like, come on, bro. When he said some stuff, I'm like, man, you were here. You helped us get a Super Bowl. You can't be saying stuff like that, bro. I love you too. I
don't love him anymore.
So you should have seen the post I made. You should have seen the post I made. It was pretty great.
You can make me not love you quick, though. I understand. Like, Darby hasn't said anything outlandish about Philly.
Well, you have to do something like Nigel, that. And that's why I bring him up. Yep.
Nigel can go away, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I made a post about it, and I just, you seem to be lost. And it was a picture of him, on the field with the Super Bowl. It's like, do you forget where, and then I put his stats up, and I showed him how in the 4 years in Buffalo, he actually was worse. So where he actually came and got better, so I asked him if it really was a better situation or if this situation made him better. And it was just, I really called him out. And, he used to like and retweet my stuff. He didn't like or retweet that one. I don't know why. Lewis, I'm more than excited. These guys are more than excited. We're going to be flipping out for the next couple hours here, man. And I'm happy Reagor's back too. So thinking about two burners. And then, hey, let's not forget you got John Hightower that may be used on kick return or something, because you don't want to see Reagor used there if he's still like a little I'd rather see him on receiver. He has to be used at receiver. I don't want to see Reagor back on punt return yet. I will see him as the starter next week. But who do you guys see as the punt returner or kick returner? Because we got that Huntley kid. We brought him in. So he just apparently is coming in and getting a roster spot without doing a damn thing.
Over there. I'm not. Jimmy, hold on. Ryan. Ryan's shaking his head to practice squad kittens now. It's what we're freaking doing. We're that excited.
Hey, they're on the active roster, and that's what's crazy about it. So do you see them actually, because if they're on the roster, they plan on being used, and I believe it's in the return game. I don't see them on offense. That's not going to happen for them too much. And Hightower may have had a chance because there was only going to be 4 receivers, but now we got 5. So he's the 5th receiver there. Don't see him getting much time at all on offense, if any.
Boston Scott's returning punts, in my opinion.
Okay.
Boston Scott's got punts. It's somebody they're going to be confident in there, right?
You see Clement? Maybe Clement on kick return?
I just think they're going to – if they – if just looking at it from the other side, like if you're a coach, what would you do? You're trying to go in with it like, all right, let me go in what I know week 1. And as we continue down this road, maybe, you go with you give these your kids start to earn spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In terms of like, okay, I'm going to use them here. Not saying these guys won't be used there, but I just feel like they go shorthanded, right? Wouldn't it make sense for them just to go with shorthanded guys at this point? But I could even see in a close game Deshaun running back there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That he felt 10 years younger. That he told us that. He told us that. So go ahead. Love for you to dabble. You know what I mean? The less I have to use John Hightower, the more successful we're going to be in 2020 here. Okay?
You
That's-
don't like John Hightower?
No, it's not about not liking.
That's
It's not.
hurtful.
I can't get. Listen. Now I'm trusting the guy to land 5th round picks. I don't trust him to land 1
I
or 2.
hope he did.
Well, good. I hope he did. Listen, you're not hitting all these receivers.
No, he hasn't hit shit in years, so he better hit something this year.
So we love Jalen. We love Hightower. We love Quez. We love Quez. We love
I
all
don't
these.
love that he's out. That is unfortunate. Keeping him is interesting though. To keep 7 receivers, I thought was very intriguing this year. So I mean, the way that Doug was talking about him, he really was excited about Quez and John, and talked about if needed, using them on game day. I'm not sure if it's one of those things where maybe we see them going off and on to the practice squad when Watkins comes back in one of those lock modes, because you can only do that twice. But I'm not sure, like Tom was kind of alluding to, it's not going to be a huge part of this offense. Like, these guys are here because they don't want to lose them to people, and that's why I say the only place you're probably going to ever see either of those 2 people is on the return team. And, I love what you said there, though. Boston Scott, I saw the name Greg Ward down there. That's another great candidate. I think they're going to rely on some of these receivers, though, a little bit more. And we talk about the running backs being used, too. But I really think that you'll see Clement and Scott get theirs in the return game and a few carries. So that's a great point. But, Tom, Ralph, what are you thinking back there, man?
Darren Sproles will be returning punch for us.
Apparently Huntley's the next Darren Sproles already. Guy never played an effing snap. I saw a post like that. I was like, oh, okay.
Nah, I think I can see Boston Scott doing it this year for us as well. I don't know about Jalen just because of the whole shoulder stuff. Just play cautiously a little bit with him for Sunday, not run him out there too much. But I mean, if he's playing, he's playing. But I'm gonna go Boston Scott for the punt returns and kick returns and stuff like that.
Love it. Jake, how are you feeling about that, man?
Yeah, I got Boston Scott as well. I'm going to agree with Ralphie, even though Jalen says he doesn't feel any pain or anything like that. I don't want to risk anything. Nope. And God forbid he gets injured and then he's out for even longer. So I'm not going to risk it. Just give me Boston Scott and I'll be fine.
For sure. And I agree with that. I think that's a great candidate. And he's a tough little runner, man. So he does great in the return game. What do you see him back there, Ryan?
I agree. I mean, I want to say, maybe they'll go with Huntley because they would bring him in and maybe they have a role for him, but he's been here for like 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Where I see them honestly going with Scott and even a Clement, is with the kick returns. The one thing I'll say with Clement, I know it was a small sample size, but when we saw him before, obviously he had the season-ending injury last year, they tried him out in the first handful of weeks, or I guess the first 2 because he got injured in the Falcons game, as pretty much everyone on the offensive side of the ball did in that game. Yep. And he struggled. He struggled in the kick returns. Obviously, I believe it was the Falcons game. He gave up that fumble that ended up becoming a touchdown for the Falcons to where I know that was their plan with him last year to where he would really become, that special teams expert and also a depth guy in the running backs. I'm hoping for his sake that's what they want to do. But I think week 1, Corey Clement obviously coming off of – it was a brief injury report. He was only on there for like a day and a half. But I think they're going to go with something that they know, especially with familiarity and with the lack of preseason play. If you had the preseason play, maybe you can experiment with the Huntleys or the Hightowers. But given as though this is the first in-game action we're going to see out of these guys, I think they're just going to build on what they were using last year. And I could honestly see Greg Ward, as much as I don't believe it's going to be as much as a special teams aspect as last year because he does have that solidified role in the wide receiver core as opposed to last year. I do think, just again, going back to familiarity, we did see a lot from him in returns last season to where if something goes wrong with Scott or if they want to try something else differently, I think the only 2 options week 1 that is Ward and Boston Scott.
Love it. Love it. And, that's all great points there because the thing about all of this is we talked about some of these veterans making it over these young guys because of that fact. And that's why you see a lot of these guys will be starting over these guys. And maybe halfway through the season, we'll see something different. I mean, one thing I was thinking about while you're talking was, what's funny is some of these guys probably won't even be on the team next week. They'll try to, move this guy here, move that guy there. And all kinds of wild rules now with the 16-man practice squad and 6 guys can be veterans. You can lock 2 of them and 4. It's nuts. You know what I mean? Or 4 of them for 2 weeks. It's wild stuff. I love it. Let Jalen Hurts run back. I do not think that is a great idea. Not a punt returner. maybe in Madden, that would be something you could try out, but I don't think you can make that happen with quarterbacks. So turn him into a wide receiver and see how it goes.
Now,
Let me know.
This guy's been Kyle Cap. He's been spamming the comments, so I guess he wants us to answer this. I think it's a crazy question, but I don't know why.
I usually just don't even give this kind of stuff the time of day because it's ridiculous to even wish or say anything about that is stupid. It's truly stupid.
I'll answer for him. Are we done with him? Listen. We gotta be. We're close. Who are we fooling? You know what I mean? Who are we fooling? I don't want to have that conversation, but who are we fooling? I'm the biggest guy there is. But I mean, if we're talking about IR again, like Kyle's talking about, like, no, I'm not done with him. But I mean, I got a lot more question marks, right? A ton. So I mean, just to be fair to the question, like, why are we talking about this before Sunday? I don't know. But the answer, to be fair, I got question marks then. But listen, knock on wood, full 16 again. All right, and this time he plays in the postseason and doesn't get banged up. Let's go. Talking into existence. The good things. All right, Kyle?
How about it? Keeping 7 wide receivers, at least one of those is going to have to be used on special teams. We need some to replace Matt Collins. Dear God. And that's the thing. This guy's, to us, might not seem like they're going to use him, but you have to realize the Eagles always love doing wild-ass stuff to us and pissing us off to no end. So thank you, Eagles, for always doing that and keeping us on the edge of our seats. Yep, we can. We go over all that stuff every single week. Thank you for tuning in, Philly guy. And there's all kinds of crazy. There's 3 running backs on there, Killins. You could bring up Warren, all kinds of crazy stuff they could do if they wanted. But you have to realize that you do that twice with someone and then you can't do it again. So there's all kinds of rules to it where it's fun and dandy, but you don't really want to put him on there unless it's a guy that you don't necessarily see being here for super long term. And there's a few of those guys on there. But a lot of these people we're grooming to take over. You got to realize that a lot of these contracts have to be gone next year. So a lot of those receivers, a lot of those people that we talk about, they're going to have to they're going to be on the roster, but they're not going to play much. They're going to have to learn. And hopefully due to injury, we don't have to see these guys. But a lot of people always love to wish for that and hope for it. But it's like, no, dude, I'd rather see my team succeed with their best players. But hey, all right, fine. Yeah, exactly. No one wants to think about that. No one. Now, Washington is dude, they've got Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. Okay. Yeah. He actually didn't look too shabby in the second game that we took. We talked about that a little bit earlier. We took him on and went to Washington, whooped that ass, and ran that touchdown at the end. It was beautiful. Everyone enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, this kid got better. And scary Terry McLaurin, he's pretty good. Now they also have Steven Sims. Whoa. Who? I'm sorry, who? But they do have one rookie that was, intriguing, Antonio Gandy Golden. But this kid, he was just dealing with a concussion. So now they're dealing with another injury, like at a position where they need people. And we got a guy named Darius Slay. Oh, and another one named Nickel Roby Coleman. And I think we're going to match up well. So how do you see on the opposite side, Jake, why don't you start us off this time? How do you see Dwayne Haskins doing? And do you see if something were to happen, do you think they pull the plug? Do you think we could see someone like Alex Smith, or do you think he's not ready and you'd see more of a Kyle Allen in this game?
I mean, to be honest with you, Jimmy, I really think he is going to struggle just because I think you're going to have to take Terry McLaurin out of the equation because Slay's just going to blanket him, in my opinion. And then really, like you touched on earlier, who else do they have? And I think if he does continue to struggle, I mean, it's like a nice, like it adds to the, adds to the heartwarming story of Alex Smith's comeback and stuff like that. Do I see Alex Smith possibly making a comeback and their quarterback getting benched? Maybe. But again, I'm not going to give up on a guy on his second year. If he struggles, it is what it is. But again, he's just in a tough situation. No running backs. Terry McLaurin, in my opinion, is going to get blanketed by Darius Slay on Sunday. So I think he is going to struggle.
Yeah, and you heard Slay talk about their first matchup when he met Terry last year. And, he actually did pretty good against him. And, he said, he was like, I'll be real with you. I didn't do enough homework. I didn't take him as serious as I should have. So Cowboys suck. First off, just want to throw that out there, Harlem Cowboy. And, I don't see them pulling the plug either. I myself, I think that he could, try to look a little bit better, but I think this defense is going to whoop his ass. I really think that we're going to feast on him. Ryan, how are you feeling about Dwayne Haskins in this game? Do you think it's that bad that he would get benched, or how do you see this game going?
No, I mean, listen, if he gives up friggin' 10 interceptions, then obviously he'll get benched. But
well, we hope it won't get to that point.
Yeah, but I honestly believe the leash is going to be. He's going to have a lot of time to really mold. Because I think they're like we talked about before, the Washington football, they're not expected to win this year. You know what I'm saying? Like I have them being an intriguing team mostly because of their defensive front, some dynamic weapons on the offense, but that's about it. Their main goal is to find out who Dwayne Haskins is this season. And they're not going to, in a way they're going to find it out if they bench him week 1. That's going to basically mean the guy's not any good. But I think they're going to give the kid time. We always hear, regardless of what the position is, that in year 2, the game really slows down. And we could say that with any sport, football, basketball, baseball, anything, to where do I think he's going to struggle mightily? I don't think he's going to have a great game, that is, but I do think it's going to end up being one of those frustrating week 1 divisional games to where, like we kind of saw last year. I don't think to the degree last year where, what was it? Was that Darby? No, that wasn't Darby. That was Sendejo who gave up. He looked like he did everything but tackle the what was that? Vernon Davis?
Yeah, he sucks.
It felt like it was like flag
74
football.
missed tackles.
Yeah. Like I don't think we're gonna have that kind of frustration, but Terry McLaurin's the type of a guy, especially entering his year 2, to where he can get away for one big play. But as far as Haskins having a dominant, big-time game, I don't really think that's in the cards, especially given the offensive line issues they have, and then obviously the lack of depth at wide receiver and all the, the injuries that follow that.
Yeah, definitely. And glad you brought that point up. That offensive line, we'll get to that next. That's definitely intriguing. How are you feeling about Dwayne Haskins this week, Tom? Do you see him? Do you think he could even throw for over 150 yards? How are you seeing him doing here?
Over 150? Yeah, in the NFL today, he's throwing over 150. But I was looking for something, and I can't find it, and that's fine. But I was looking for. I had a paper from last year. Might have been before week 1. I'm not quite sure when it was from, but it was from last year, and it had written Dwayne Haskins stinks.
The summer.
Okay?
Yep.
Dwayne Haskins stinks, and I'm going to stand by that again this year. We know he can throw the ball a little bit, but I'm never going to buy in that he's bought in. You understand? I'm never going to buy in that he's bought into a playbook because I didn't believe that from day 1. So I'm going to believe that this guy can do some things well, sure. All right, but stinks, and I think we expose him Sunday too. I think we're a little exposure talk Sunday, and I'm excited for it. As this week's going on, my adrenaline's going up now, even though it's sneaking up on us, and I get longer and longer away score wise, right? You know what I mean? So like you start Sunday, I did a show, and it was like. Right, closer, and then Wednesday it was like double digits, but late score, and like by the time we do it tonight, I might have us winning by 40. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They're just gonna say, we're not even gonna worry about a name because we're not good enough. You know what I mean? We'll get to the name when we actually can win some football games. Right? That's gonna be the Washington football team from here on out.
Love it, Bird Gang, love it. Thank you for tuning in. What's up, J-Hot? What's up, everybody? And I love it, Tom. And I think Haskins has got his hands full indeed. And like you said, maybe he'll get some garbage time in there, maybe an extra touchdown, a few yards because of that. And it's a changing league where we see a lot of passing, plus the fact they got rid of AP. We're going to see what happens with this offense. Ralph, how are you feeling about Dwayne Haskins this week?
Well, Dwayne Haskins, he's not a good quarterback. He's all right. Their offensive line in general is atrocious.
Yep.
Washington, if you need me, $7 million on the books. If you want me to come block for you a little
bit. You might ask for a restructure within a week.
Yeah,
$7.
You want more guys with blown knees? Here you go, Washington.
Yeah, there you go. I'll help you out a little bit. But no, their offensive line is atrocious. And you guys were talking about the whole wide receiver core. Outside of Scary Terry, it's literally nobody else. Mm-hmm. They only got one guy, and I'm not really afraid of their wide receiver core. And, Jordan Reed's not there, but, he hasn't played. Even when he was there, he wasn't even playing. So their tight end situation is hot garbage as well.
He got a concussion at ShopRite. He got a concussion just going to ShopRite, Jordan Reed.
Who's their tight end? Who's their tight end?
Logan
now?
Thomas? Jeremy Sprinkle?
Jeremy Sprinkle is their starting tight end now.
Well, let me tell you, Jeremy Sprinkle will probably go off for like $140 on
jumping over guys, right?
That just sounds like the guy who's going to go off on the Eagles. A tight end. We can't go. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get better at that. Hopefully, but a tight end going off for like 130, and his name's Jeremy Sprinkle. Sprinkle. God, please, no. Let me take that back. Please, no. We don't want any Jimmys.
So if you put that evil. Exactly.
That might be worse than like the 7th string running back on the Dolphins going after us last year. Remember that?
Oh,
Like the little, it looked like Rudy out there, like the friggin' account.
Yeah, there's a guy just like he just got here. You know what I mean? He was literally washing, washing, and he was at janitorial service right before the complex, and we saw him run a 40, and then the rest is history. And I felt like that.
10-day contract.
Yeah, 10-day contract. Just after 140, and he's just earned his way. You know what I mean? I feel like we get guys who smoke us consistently like that. Like they were like, man, just been putting in the work. You know what I mean? Like, the coach speak after the game because the guy's really not good enough. So he doesn't know what to say. He's like, I don't know how this happened, really, is what he wants to say. But he goes, he's just been putting it in. Just been
sprinkling it on. He's sprinkling it on, Gary. Did you see that? I'll punch the TV as soon as they say it too, because then I'll be like, Tom, God damn it! I'll know it was you putting that evil on me. No, I love it because you're right. That's the shit that happens to the Eagles every week, and it's just like then we'll be seeing memes all week with Sprinkles.
He's a really nice sprinkle on the offense, Dan. He's
there it is. There it is.
They'll be the corniest jokes you've ever heard, and you know it too. And I will not be in the laughing mood at all. So yes, you're probably right.
Then they'll get in a brief monologue. Jimmy's or Sprinkles?
Look what you did, Ralph, before we even brought up the tight ends. People were just getting out of control. And, it's true. You look at the weapons around him. You see what he's got. That offensive line, the one thing they used to have was Trent Williams. They got rid of him. Brandon Scherf, Morgan Moses. Yeah, you're all done. So whether or not Derek Barnett plays, I'd love to see what Josh Sweat has. We're hoping I guess we're going to find out what this rotation looks like. Got Curry. Avery's been practicing in full, so he's back. That's crazy. He had a bone bruise, thought it was going to be more serious. So we're going to see what the hell we got out of that 4th round damn trade. So might be another waste of a pick, but you better find out. But Derek Barnett, we got to see something from him this year. I'm going to punch myself and him in the face because, next year he's going to cost us $10 million against the cap. I don't know if he plays this week, but that doesn't bode well for him. But that's going to change my answer. But there was a question just asked. Someone asked how many sacks they thought that we will get this weekend. Great question. Kind of coincides with talking about how trash their offensive line is and Dwayne Haskins. Man, that's a very great question. Jake, why don't you start us off with that one, man?
How many sacks? I'll be happy with 3 or 4. Realistically, but again, I think it's going to be something to where the game plan with like the short dink and dunk passes that always give us issues. But again, I'd be happy.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, I'd be happy with 3 or 4. Give me 3 or 4 and maybe a pick or 2, and I'll be fine. Sitting back on my couch, just relaxing. But again, it's Washington, so we can never have it just where we relax, enjoy our Sunday. It's always going to be close. As much as we want to, yeah.
2 picks from half.
Ralph, what are you seeing? How many sacks?
4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 interception.
Oh, he's calling for this defense to go out. And that's something that Tom, Jake, Ryan, I, and even Ralph, we've all talked about. Watch for this defense to actually be, even if you're a fantasy player, a little bit better at making some plays this year, actually doing a little bit more. That's a little wild stat line for you, but hey, man, I'm all about it. I would love to see some plays at least because it feels like in 17 we had special teams going off on motherfucker. Like we were literally like every play. We're like, okay, like I was excited about special teams. Like I wasn't going to get a drink or taking a break because I was like, oh shit, Maragos is about to. There we go. And then he got hurt in 17, so that sucks. But it looks like we're trying to add pieces there. So special teams and defense, I could definitely see some moves being made. Ralph, I love it. And if that happens, I'm gonna give you a big kiss,
I love it too. I love it too. And that's what that's why I said it, because I love it and you love it. We all love it.
The people love it. Tom, what are you seeing? How many sacks this weekend on Dwayne Haskins? Or anybody?
3. I mean, 3. I don't think it's like the Jets.
Just 3?
I don't know. Listen, 3 to 5. I don't know.
There you go.
This is, in that area, but I'll say more like 3-ish. But I think they get 2 picks. So I think we get 2 takeaways there, and we get a fumble recovery. So I think this defense is going to do it in a little bit different ways too, not just all sacks. We're going to get a lot of pressure. I feel like we're going to get a lot of pressure, but it just, then they're going to make adjustments to that. So I'll go with a 3-piece there. But we're definitely going to take the ball away, and that's what we need to do more than any other year. And that's something we all expected. You got to take the football away. Similar, I don't want to compare everything to 2017. I just want to compare it to the playoff teams and teams that compare for Super Bowls. Take the football away from people and get off the field on third downs. That's what good football teams do, and that's what I need to see Sunday immediately, because the thing we all talk about, and to Kyle talking about firing Jim Schwartz, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Like right now,
this is big boy hour, buddy.
Like we're not talking about. We're not going to fire our defensive coordinator right now, especially a guy who's doing a damn good job. Damn good
he's
job.
About to do a better job with some actual toys that don't get hurt, right? Don't get hurt. Don't get
exactly.
Hurt.
So I'm excited for this defense on Sunday. It's something that we've all talked about, and some believe it can be a top 10 or right on the verge of it. So we'll see if we're right, or is this Homer glasses?
I think with the additions that we added now, Hargrave being out, that sucks, but Malik Jackson's back. You got Ridgeway. I think that, we still have a rotation that could really put some pressure on this offensive line that we talked about, being straight garbage, as Ralph said. So, I think we're going to really attack them, like Tom was just mentioning, and I think you're going to see turnovers in multiple places. I think we're going to just attack. And I love every second of it. I love Jim Schwartz, and I don't understand where some people just get this misconception that terrible players and injured players make Jim Schwartz terrible when he is trying to run something. We talked about what he was going to do with Will Parks this year, and I was beyond excited. He's going to get the chance after week 3, but right now, even with the pieces we have, it's still much better than we had, right? We got Slay and Nickel Coleman. That enough for me is like, holy shit. We got a number 1 corner and one of the best, if not the best, nickel corners in the game. Come on, man. And now we're going to, if Jim Schwartz fails with this, well, then, yeah, you could say something. But come on, man. You've been seeing what we've all been seeing, right? The last couple of years.
What's the point? What's the point? Listen, you guys want to talk about 32nd in pass defense, right? I care about points given up. All right?
Yep.
I care about points given up.
And he did well.
You want to be an analytical stat junkie, and that's not even an analytical stat junkie. That's just a ridiculous 32nd in pass.
Hater.
It's about can you score? I don't care how many you can go up and down the field. Do we keep teams out of the end zone? That's always been his MO as defense coordinator here in Philly. And I think with toys to not have to play 20 yards off everybody, I think is gonna show his ability to be even a better defensive coordinator, and he's already been here. So it just great.
And the 32nd pass defense, that's wrong. That's not even close, actually.
I didn't think it was. So
17 in passing defense, 15th in overall defense. So again,
what was their rush? Top 10 rush defense?
Oh, so it's always been top 10. Yeah, for the last handful of years. I'll talk
about that because it doesn't fit their agenda. Because it doesn't fit
last year.
For Jake, yeah, they were up there. I knew they were up there. So you're talking about that doesn't fit your agenda. They call it both ways. Dean saying, their defense carried his team at home. They absolutely have. And they haven't been great on the road.
With the trash offense, right, Tom?
Yes. But then they haven't been great on the road. I get that. But in big games last year, they were.
They're 3 in rush defense, number 3.
So take both sides of it.
Right
so now you can be 3 in rush defense, and you can be top 10 in pass defense. How are you?
It's going to be nasty. Exactly, Tom. Great points. And Jake throwing that out there. And Ryan, great stuff. Everybody, we come here to just try to literally, we're not like, come on, man. If you're going to talk to us, we really want to talk with you. And I love the questions, man. But have you been watching what we're watching, right? Like Jim Schwartz is not the reason that this team was struggling. And I can promise you that. And you're going to see that this team's a lot different. Ryan, what are you thinking about this week? And do you see Dwayne Haskins getting sacked? 4, 5, 3? What are you thinking? More?
I'm gonna go with 2.
Facts, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Remember,
he will be. That's what scares me.
It was like 2 years ago, weren't we like all we were all like afraid. Every Eagles fan in the country was like, "Oh, he's going to the Giants. He's going to be head coach of the Giants."
Yeah.
Now we want to fire him. It's really
did he go?
Come on. It's like the Nick Foles stuff.
Did he go? Yeah. No, another team passed on him. Yes. We were like, yes.
Yeah.
I know. I was losing my mind.
Every year. So Philly guy's right when he's talking about if he just was an offensive guy.
Great point.
You'd have been hired already, right? Because he got all the makings of a head coach. So we have like 2 head coaches.
He'll be gone, right?
People need to get a clue.
Tom, you think he's gone after this year with the great pieces he has? You think it's going to be, because I agree, we've talked about this top 10 defense. You think that Jim will be a head coach next year?
No, because they're just going to be offensive. Teams love offensive guys.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Or it would be a really bad team where he's just like, no, I'm not going to take that job. You know what I mean?
Maybe a couple years of doing well. So you still think he could stay for a couple years?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Ralph, how are you feeling about that?
You just give him more money. I mean, Jeffrey, open up the pockets. You open up for Peters for freaking 1,000 years.
Oh, yeah.
So open it up for Jimmy. Open it up for Duck. See, I think we're going to get into this a little bit later, please. But there's a disconnect from ownership down right now, and I got a big problem with it. So let's please not forget to absolutely destroy.
We're going to talk about the shit show
in a little bit. Go ahead, Ryan. It'd be too long right now. Go, please.
We'll happily get to that, brother.
I'm going to go with 2 sacks on Haskins, but I'm also going to go with a pick 6 from Avonte Maddox.
Ooh, okay.
Now we're going to be crowning him. Now we're going all pro.
I hope so. I got the ball signed up there. So
I do like me some Avonte though. So
yeah. My kid really likes him too. So I yelled at him at a training camp, got him to sign the ball. That ball is signed by him, Fletcher Cox, and Howie Roseman. It was quite an experience.
One of them.
And also, I'm going with Maddox because, like we've been talking about, Slade's going to be on McLaurin, and I believe he's going to be covering him like a blanket the entire time. Yep. So it's late in the game. It's going to force maybe, especially if Dwayne's down, maybe 10, 12, 14 points. It's going to force them to throw one up, and then Avonte's going to take advantage of it.
Yep. So do you see? How do you feel about that Jim question, Ryan?
On if he's going to be a head coach next year?
Do you think one good year would get him on a team, or like Philly guy said here, the league and Tom, it is the offensive head coaches.
Yeah, I just think it's everything's leaning towards offense. And Tom, what did you say about Super Bowl?
He won a Super Bowl, so like if he didn't get it, you know what I mean? If you're not getting hired, not getting hired in 2018 with being head coach before and winning a Super Bowl, it's almost like a retread. So what happens with teams are scared to do it again, right? Because he was a head coach. So they look for the other guys who weren't, and they try to go that route. That's another reason. And it's an offensive heavy league, and everybody wants to have the next Sean McVay, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Kyle Shanahan, who's an idiot. You know what I mean? They want to have them guys.
Yeah, so I believe he's going to be around for, I don't think he's going to be going anywhere, just based off of, like we talked about before, the way the league's moving. They're always looking for the next young guy or the next guy to come out of the Belichick or Andy Reid tree. There's so many guys in both that we expected to get hired last year that are still there, like Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
There's 100 that I can name. And you've got the guys from college so I think there's so many that people are looking for the next best thing, even if it's not the younger guy, that it kind of goes against the Jim Schwartz type thing. And also, to be honest, I'm not complaining about it because we've kind of talked about it. I know we talked about it at length on Wednesday to where I know Tom and I were saying it's kind of crazy to think about that. Jim Schwartz has been here, for 4 years? This is where he's going into his 4th or 5th year. I think this is where he's going into his
fifth year, isn't it?
Is it his 5th?
Yeah.
2016 was his first year.
Oh, right.
So this is his 5th year, and it almost seems like because you talk about and you kind of look at how much involvement he has on the decisions made up top, as far as the signings and the draft picks and also the guys not to bring back. It almost feels like this is like the first time we're truly going to see Jim Schwartz's, his defense.
Yeah,
it seemed like in the past years he was working with other guys that they only had flexibility to get. I mean, we heard Jim Schwartz's name on every offseason move from Malcolm Jenkins leaving to Sidney Jones getting cut. And I really think all the way down, we're going to see exactly what Jim Schwartz wants to do. And all I'm saying is we joked about it on Wednesday. Hopefully we don't see that stupid prevent defense with Darius Slay because then I'll start with the Jim Schwartz hate. Then I'll start.
Oh, man. I would join with you and we would literally go beat his ass because and it's not going to happen though, dude. Because like you said, and we talked about this over and over and I hate saying it because it's like people do call for Jim Schwartz head all the time. It's like, look, dude, this guy actually has been playing with the pieces he has, and it's been amazing that he's even stood the test of time. And I think that he's literally going to get to have, like Ryan said, a real defense, some weapons he can use. And once Will Parks come back, that's going to help the linebackers. I saw a comment mentioning that
Sorry.
no, it's good. That I think. Wait, Kyle Shanahan's an idiot. Chucky sent the chat. That must be an inside joke. I'm not getting it.
He loves
Chuck is
it.
a big
He loves
Kyle
it.
Shanahan guy.
He loves
offensive
Shanahan.
minded.
I think Shanahan's a fraud. So that's the difference between me and Chuck's. That's all. I think Shanahan.
Yeah, I don't think he's that
fraud
great either. Look at his winning percentage, man. He's not that great. Anyways, I think either way, I kind of lost track where I was going with that. But Jim Schwartz will have his chance to show what he's got, and Slay will be covering the best receivers. That's why they train these guys to play inside, outside. You're going to see Maddox, LeBlanc, all these guys. Even Craig James is special teams ace, but it maybe gets some time because we only have 5 corners. But we have some real corners in Nickel, Roby Coleman, and Slay. So we're not going to have to see so much rotation like we used to. So I think this is going to be a very good defense, and I am beyond excited to see what they do to Washington. Did you get the answer about the sacks there, Jake?
Yeah, I said
yeah, you did. 4. Yep. Okay. Now, the running backs. This is an intriguing one. Now, this week, they're going into it. They're all excited. What are you guys thinking about their running back core? Getting rid of Adrian Peterson finally, and now they've got themselves Bryce Love, J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, and this new kid, Antonio Gibson, who can play running back and receiver. What do you think these kids are really going to do? Do you see this team going over 150 rush yards this week, Ralph?
No shot.
Not against the number 3 rush defense.
Yeah. I mean, we
even see them getting 100.
It might be tough. They might have. If they do, it's a lucky day for them. I'll tell you that. We ended last year third in the league with rushing defense. We upgraded the defensive line again, so we have a nice first rotation, another second rotation. Like I said, if they hit 100, it might be a lucky day for them.
Truth. I love it, man. Jake, how are you feeling about that? Do you think they break 100?
As like a
unit,
and as like a tandem? Yeah, yep. I think they could, but again, with the top, at least right now, the top 3 rushing defense in football, it's going to be tough. But I think they probably could. But like I said, it's going to be tough.
For sure. And, this defense in all of our minds, and that's on paper. But if you look at it, it's like it better be a lot better because we saw what it looked like last year. So, Tom, how are you feeling? I see you're watching.
Zero shot that they go over 150 or even get to 150. I think they're held under 100. I mean, that's what this MO of this defense. That's the MO of this front. So, I mean, I expect that to be status quo. I mean, they're really good at stopping the run. I don't see that changing, but that comes has a lot to do with your corners wanting to tackle, right? And obviously, we know our safeties let them tackle, and then who's playing linebacker for you, and probably more nickel packages. But who is that guy? Is it Nathan Gary? So this front's got to go to work on Sunday, but that's what they do. No matter who's behind them, they're always great at stopping the run. So I can't see how these guys are going getting the 150. Better yet, even maybe getting to 100.
Yeah, and I love that because that is something we mentioned a little bit earlier in the video. That's been our MO for a long time. One thing we've struggled a lot, secondary, linebackers, we never put an emphasis on linebackers. But the one thing we always could rely on was that damn run defense. And that's, a great thing because we have some damn good running backs in our division. So this week, I think, it's not going to be the toughest of tests. And I know that on Madden, a lot of these people are like, oh, wait till you see these kids catch. And look, the Eagles have definitely struggled against those pass catching backs, Chris Thompson, especially on the Washington football team before. So it's like, I'm not saying Gibson can't get his, and a lot of those guys can catch the ball too. So they're all kind of the same back almost with a few things different, but it's like, I think the Eagles can key in on what they do, and I really think they could stop from getting 100 myself. Ryan, how are you feeling about that? Exactly.
I'm going to tell you how this is going to go. I'll paint a picture, okay? They're going to try to get the run game going early, and like we saw all year last year for the most part, the year before and the year before, we're going to stop them. Therefore, they're going to be forced to abandon the run. Then it's going to get to the point where Dwayne Haskins, going back to my previous prediction, he's going to have to start forcing things, which is going to start obviously giving us more opportunities for the pick sixes or even hanging on to the ball a little too long for the fumbles and the sacks. I don't know if it's because it's 2 days away. and because the excitement's going over the realism. But I feel like, and Ralphie, and Tom and Jake, you guys can attest to this going back to last season. I feel like I'm always somebody who braces for impact instead of just goes for, the excitement and the pom-poms. But I really believe as we continue to dive in and break this game down, on Wednesday, I was saying this team, the Washington football team would get around, I think I had them finishing with like 24 points. I'm starting to get close to around 14, to be honest, because I really see a way to where we don't have to play our best football on defense. But if we show up and we do our jobs, our run stopping is going to lead to our secondary taking advantage of a still, because listen, I understand he's entering his second year, but he only played, about 5-6 games last year. So Dwayne Haskins is still an inexperienced quarterback with an inexperienced weapons group, with an inexperienced running game, with an inexperienced offensive line. I really do believe one thing's going to lead to another. So honestly, Jimmy, I see the entire unit getting around 70-75, to be completely honest with you. Because I don't think they're going to – I just think they're going to abandon it early because it's going to get them nowhere.
I agree with you. And, that's something we talked about the last couple of weeks, especially with even Adrian Peterson. We talked about how stout this run defense was. So now without him, and, they feel comfortable growing in the future, kind of like some moves we've made, keeping the youth movement. So I feel very comfortable and I love it. 75 yards. That's beautiful. I think we really will whoop their ass. And it's perfect what you said there. We talk about taking away the run from teams and, making them one dimensional. And that's what we're going to do to Dwayne Haskins, this young cornerback on a new system. So not only is he inexperienced, but now he's got a whole new playbook to roll with. So now this kid's going to come in his first week. And sure, we may have some new pieces, but I'm telling you, I agree with all the things you guys said about the interceptions, the forced fumbles. I think there's going to be a plethora. I think this is going to be a fun game for us. I think I'm really, you talk about dissecting the game, and I think we've done that more than ever in our lives because everything's been missing. We were stuck in quarantine for months. Everything has been nuts for the past 6 months. So we've been more ready for football than ever in our lives. So been getting excited about a lot of games, but the more and more close we get, the more realize we're better than this football team. We're more experienced, with this system. But I love what Tom said earlier. I keep trying to keep it more real and be professional and tell you how it is. And then I kind of just want to tell you that we're going to beat the shit out of them and we're going to beat them by over 20 points because I think that we can come out here and really do that. I think this team is capable of being a caliber team with Carson Wentz when he finally has weapons that we could whoop their ass, man. I really, really think that it's going to happen. So I love what you said. And I think if we take away that run, and if we keep them one-dimensional, we will cause those turnovers you spoke of, and we will make that happen, man. But like Tom said at the beginning, I think they'll have their chance to get some garbage time, So they'll definitely maybe pad his stats and stuff. But ATD, I'll be a father June 2021. It's official.
Congrats, Bryce.
Congrats,
Bryce.
There you go, Bryce.
Congratulations, brother.
Good job, Bryce.
Let us know when that happens. We'll welcome him to the family. That's awesome, brother. Really proud of you, man. And hope your family, everybody's safe and everything goes well there, man. That's awesome. Great news. I can't wait to just enjoy my family this Sunday. I can't wait to just be with them and just once again lose my mind. The double high fives after a touchdown, one for a field goal. All the crazy things that we all like to do. And I'm insane. And a lot of them I like to do in memory of my dad. So always some funny stuff like the colors, man. I won't wear didn't let my niece, she had a purple toy. She came in my house, NFC Championship game. I said, hey, how are you? You're going to have to take that outside. And she was like, this is a 3-year-old. I walked out to the car. I'm like, look, honey, I put the toy in the back, buckled it in. I have pictures of it. It's great. And I was like, nothing purple in the house today. But you can ask my girlfriend. She thinks I'm a nut because that morning I woke up, told her to get the grape juice out of my fucking house. And I just I'm nuts. And I know that shit means nothing, but it's beautiful to me. And I'm just so ready. And I love what Tom said. As it gets closer and closer, I just want to lose my effing mind. I'm losing it. I'm getting excited. And I don't care if it's a close game, whatever. Just get the damn win, please.
Well, can I listen, I don't care how you get a win. I don't care how you get to a locker room with a win. Right. But I almost don't want to address this guy anymore. But Kyle, 10-6. That's your feel off of this one. 10-6. I mean, you just crushed this defense. And now you got him giving up 6 points. So I don't even know what you're talking about now. Because if you're crushing them, I would assume that we would get lit up a little bit, right? regardless on who we're playing, if they're this bad defense that you're claiming them to be. All right, and then 10 points, that's what you're getting? That's what you're getting. If this team scores 10 points, I got an issue. Okay, I'm just going to tell you right now, win or lose. Like if they win and they score 10 points, I'm not a guy who has issues, but I'm going to have an issue. Okay, I understand the O-line's banged up, but I got a franchise quarterback. I got a great play caller. I got weapons all around. We should be fine in this game. We are a better football team, and the better football team needs to show up on Sunday. Mm-hmm. All right, and I'm not a guy who's going to panic or be salty like somebody said in the chat if they lose. It's a long season, man. I don't get too high or low off of them. I expect to play my best football in November and December. So it all leads up to me playing my best football when it's money time. And money time is when it gets a little chilly. All right? So do I want to win on Sunday? Do I expect to? Absolutely. But do I understand the big picture? Yeah. But it starts with divisional games because you can't give up games, especially a team that you're inferior to. So, yes, if they lost this football game, would it be Crush City on not even Monday? Sunday night on the show, it would be Crush City here. Mm-hmm. But I'm still not going to be like, okay, they're done. You know what I mean? I still got to give it. Yeah, I still got to let the season play. You know what I mean? We've heard jabronis on these airways do that before, and that's why they're no longer here. Where they're like, they're done. They stink, right? And it's like they won't make the playoffs, and then they go on to make the playoffs. So you can't get too high or low in the NFL. That's all my point is early on. Now you can get high or low in November. You can be like, okay, Panic City. You know what I mean? But in September, you gotta let it flow a little bit. That's all. So shut up, Kyle Cap. I love you, but shut up. All right. Nothing but love for you.
There was a great question and also a comment. Someone mentioned about Miles Sanders having a matchup against Landon Collins. That's something they're definitely going to try to, do with him. But I think that, that's a great point. One of their only really good defensive players they have, at a Pro Bowl caliber is Landon Collins. And we talk about Miles Sanders with that amazing catch he made last year in the back of the end zone. I mean, there's so many things that we could do with Miles. So, I think that's a great point to bring up there. And I definitely see that as something they exploit. So one thing we kind of touched on was we saw Miles Sanders being, used sparingly in the run game. How do you see him doing in the passing game this week? Do you think that is something that we definitely try to exploit once again? Or do we need to? Because we got such great receivers. I mean,
I see 10 touches total. I see 10 touches like total. You know what I mean? Maybe 5 out of the back, maybe a few out of the backfield. Obviously running the ball. I mean, maybe a little bit more depending on like if he's really good to go. Like if he comes and plays and and he's really good, then maybe a little bit more, maybe 12-ish. But I don't think they're going to like feed. I don't assume if he's banged up going into it a little bit. That's all my point is. If he's banged up going in, I don't expect a lot of touches. Them touches are going to go elsewhere. You know what I mean? I can see Zach Ertz having 12 catches in this football game.
I think
easily see 12 piece from Ertz this Sunday because they're going to have to take other things away too. That's a difference maker. I don't care who catches passes. I don't give a crap. It's not Madden. I'm not trying to pad stats to every player. You know what I mean? I'm trying just to win. So if Ertz is open all day, I don't care if he catches 14 catches. Touchdowns would be cool. That'd be like Madden. But I meant catches. So if I don't care if he catches 14 catches. I just, I can see him having a big game because they're going to try to take other things away. So we'll see.
Yeah. And if anything, I think we have all kind of mentioned being used sparingly here. Boston Scott could take on that role as well, being used out of the backfield, and Corey Clement, like you mentioned, you can see those guys getting carries.
Jimmy, we got to find out what we have too.
Exactly.
So we got to find out early on. Early on's a feeler. Right?
Yeah, do you need to sign Devontae Freeman or not?
Well, think about it. I got a game tomorrow with a bunch of new kids. So what's that first game? Second game. They're feelers. They're feelers to see what you have in game because practice is always different. So you feel it out. You feel it out. You try some things, right? So I can see some of that with some of these other guys just getting some touches just to see what you have.
Yeah. I love the question about Arcega-Whiteside. Someone mentioned earlier, and I forgot about it. I apologize. I think, he's going to have a few catches. I'm really not giving up on him like a lot of people have, and it's not just – I think a lot of people didn't read into how horrible Carson Walsh and Mike Rowe were for this team last year in this offense. And for a kid like that to be thrown in the fire did not work out well for he just wasn't built for it at the time. And I hope that this new team, the new corners, the new, the receivers healthy, everybody's used their time to help him. Aaron Moorhead, the new coach, Jason Avant in there, helping this kid grow. And, sure, that's fine. He looked great in training camp, but we want to see it on the effing field. I don't care if you got a sleeve now and you got a tattoo sleeve. That's cool. You look apart. Wonderful. Now let's see it on Sunday. He's got his chance to shine. Alshon Jeffrey is out. I think this kid is our X receiver. Well, he is our X receiver. He's going to start there. Then you're going to obviously have Jackson in your Z, and then slot is Ward. But I think this kid could be one of the we'll combine this with the other question. He could be the guy that scores your first touchdown of the game. We could get down there, and one of the things we do well is get down in the red zone and score touchdowns. And that's what they're going to rely on. Or it could be what Tom was, and Tom wasn't answering this question about the touchdown, but he was saying how much of a beast Ertz could be. I think it could either be him or definitely be Ertz down there. But I see it being a passing touchdown.
Real quick, before
you guys
go about Miles, real fast, so don't forget the Miles question. But there's one thing about JJ is what happens when we think guys automatically stink.
They're good.
Yep.
They're good.
Like about it.
The city I know. I mean, the city I've been around for a minute. You know what I mean? And I just know how this game goes. I could see him having a real big game Sunday, like a 6-7 catch game where you're like, because that would be a big game for him, and maybe a touch, and you're like, ooh, okay, and then guys that were off, start to come back on, and then the guy just catches some fire. Maybe that's sort of what I'm hoping for too, because we need him to be able to play. He needs to be able to play.
We do. Yes, we do. And we will get back to that touchdown question. But who didn't answer about the Miles Sanders yet? Was it you, Jake? Did you get to go on that?
I don't think I did yet.
Go ahead,
I think it's going to be a little more than Tom's saying. I'll say like probably 17, something like that. Nothing too crazy. You're going to see probably a good combination of Boston Scott, Corey Clement, and you're going to see a couple different combinations here and there. But like Tom said, I don't want to literally put too much tread on the tires in week one. There's no need to. There's no need to.
Exactly. How are you feeling about that, Ryan?
It could be a cop-out answer, but it really depends on how the game's going in every other aspect of the offense. Because, you're looking at it to where, say, for example, it's a closer game, or even if, somehow, some way we're behind in the game, going into the third, fourth quarter, even in the second half, then we're going to see a little bit more Miles, because we're going to have to rely on, because that clearly means that the stuff that we had planned on using, which I think we can all agree, Miles isn't going healthy or not, which it's obviously leaning towards not, regardless if he plays or not. He's not going to be 100%, it seems like. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be in the cards as far as one of the big factors of the game plan. It's not. He's going to be used. It's not like they're going to have him on ice, but he's not going to be the guy, the go-to guy in the playbook.
Do I need Miles Sanders to win this game?
No.
Do I need Hargrave to be able to win this game?
Yeah, and I don't need to lose him for the season. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you
need him for 16.
Yeah, to your point and your guys, everybody's points tonight. It's like, you don't beat these guys up in games that you should be able to go win.
Yeah.
So,
especially young ones. Yeah.
Yeah, like even if you're in a close game, I still don't see him use an overly a ton. Like, because I still think they're going to like to throw the ball early in the year a lot.
Well, I'll give you guys a perfect example. And this was, this actually drove a lot of fans crazy, last year, week one. But when we had the Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, week one last year, who was the running back we saw the most from that game? Do you guys remember?
Probably Clement or
Darren Sproles.
Sproles. I was just gonna say, was he still there? He had a game, and then that was it.
Yeah, the guy that they said was going to come back as the accessory. He was like they gave him the most touches in the game. And to Tom's point, we talked about before, it was a feel-out game. And I know that's when all of Eagles Twitter was saying, "Oh, where's Jordan Howard? We didn't use him in the second half." It was the LeGarrette Blount situation all over again. I think we're going to see a lot of that this year, not because we're trying to feel out who Miles Sanders is, because given what he did all, the second half of last year, we know who Miles Sanders is. But
no, I need to know who these guys are. So I got to. Yes. So do I go to my practice squad? God forbid. Do I got to go the Devontae Freeman finally? Like where do I go from here? Is so important to be able to see week one against team you should be able to beat. Okay, can Boston Scott carry the ball 10 times? Hypothetically, can Corey Clement carry the ball 7 times? Right? Can I get 17 touches right there from other guys? Which is what the Eagles do a lot of anyway.
Well, I'll throw a little wrinkle into this too. I don't only think we're going to see those two guys in the running game. I could see an instance to where we see a lot of Jalen Reagor in the running game, kind of jet sweeps type thing, because we've seen it. We saw that in college to where they used
it. He's going to be used everywhere.
So I really think, there's a lot of aspects to where we don't need to rely on Miles Sanders. So I really don't think we're going to see a lot of him, especially in the passing game, because again, the only reason why we saw him a lot in the passing game last year is because literally there was no one else. You know what I mean? So I think they're going to ease into that. And I think, what's week 2? The Bengals? Is that week 2?
Rams, I think, and then the Bengals.
Okay, week 2 against the Rams, I think that's going to be the big Miles Sanders showcase game.
Home opener, baby.
Yep.
Just not necessary. And
I
maybe
agree with
then he might only have 20 touches too, right? But 20 impactful touches. You know what I mean, right? You know what I mean? Like even in week 2, he might only have 20 touches, but they'll probably be more impactful touches. You know what I'm saying? If he's picked up, he could have 10 touches this week or 12 or 15. And I don't think him getting over 15 is my limit, I think. I think they're going to have like a pitch count. And I think 15 is probably his limit in touches. So, I can see one, like Jimmy said, like where one goes 50 plus. You know what I mean? Because that's what he does. So
that's what you need to happen. I think that what I see happening, and that's what we're doing here, guys. Obviously it could be, well, what if this happened or that? No shit. That's what we're trying to say. We're just trying to give you guys our opinion on what we think is going to happen. I think what we need to do is come out and establish a run like we've talked about. I think that allows you to come out, have a few good drives where you're just running him a few times and then hitting a big pass, something like that. This offense is going to be pretty explosive, I believe. And I think, if he's just doing a few carries on each drive throughout the game, by the third quarter, maybe he only gets a couple more carries and you see a lot more of these other guys. So that allows you to limit him. So, yeah, I 100% agree with all you guys. Ralphie, how are you feeling about this? I'm not sure where you walked in. Do you
what was the question?
We're talking about Miles Sanders being used against Landon Collins. That was a question from one of the fans. They had asked, do you see him being used a lot as one of the matchups we really go after him versus Landon Collins because he did so well last year? Or do you think we kind of pull the reins a little bit like we were talking about earlier?
It could be 50-50, but I'm going to think we see a lot of Miles Sanders on Sunday. I think you give him the ball at least 15 to 20 times, let him just do his thing. But the thing about the jet sweeps too, right, about Jalen Reagor, and I totally agree with that, is I saw somebody down in the comment section about they used Nelson Aguilar, and I agree with that too. That I don't think it worked Nelson Aguilar. I think it's going to work a lot better with Jalen Reagor, a lot better.
Of course, yeah. And that's something we've all talked about, and that's something that excited about, why I wanted him on this team was because of the fact that not only does he catch the ball, he returns the ball. He can run the ball. And we talk about him being that Z receiver, the guy we need to take over for Deshaun Jackson. That's the guy that lines up 3 yards off the ball. He's the guy that is moving in motion and giving you that ability. Like, they're going to be watching him like, son of a bitch, where are you going? And then you're going to have Deshaun Jackson on the field too. Like, oh, shit, where's he going?
That's crazy.
Good luck, Ertz and Goddard and Miles. Good luck. And please don't compare Nelson Aguilar to Jalen Reagor. That is not a close comparison. He's a completely different player, and I will stick to my guns. I've been comparing him to a young Steve Smith, and I really believe that he's now confirming that in my soul that is who he is because he's tough as nails, and he's already back from that injury. So I think that's a good comparison because if you watch him, he's the kind of guy where you say, yeah, he's a Z receiver right now because he's young and he's smaller. Give him some time to get tougher, get stronger, bigger. And yeah, sure, he's only 5'9", 5'10". Dude, I don't care. This kid is literally going to be like a little Steve Smith that goes out and he's going to be taking on those top corners. And I swear to God that this kid is going to be the receiver that we've been waiting for. And him and Carson are going to have a very long, illustrious career together. Mark it down, write it down, whatever you got to do. It's there, dude. It's happening.
Jimmy,
how do you guys feel about that?
Jimmy, do you believe that we're going to see any of Jalen Hurts in this game?
I'm glad someone just mentioned that. That was something I wanted to get to. That was one of the, questions we had on the group. Check it out on the site, guys. Agree or disagree with that. Because I wanted to bring that up because while we were doing a fantasy draft, that was one of the things we kind of just were talking about afterwards, And people were talking about Jalen Hurts being used this week already. And you guys know that my stance is I really don't think, that we're going to be using him at all this week due to the fact, this training camp, he didn't get to play any preseason. I don't think they're going to throw him in the fire. I think it'll take a few weeks before you see any kind of trickery with that guy involved. And if anything, it's not going to be a Taysom Hill role because he's not built like that yet, and he hasn't been in the league long enough to be taking hits over the middle or anything like that. He's a quarterback in training. So how do you guys this is a question people want to talk about, man. So great. Thanks for bringing that up. But Jake, why don't you start us off? How are you feeling about this? Do you really think Jalen Hurts is going to be on the field this week?
See,
and I don't mean because of an injury, because we're not even going to talk about that dumb shit.
No, not because of injury.
Do you think he would come in healthy Wentz?
Yeah, but I feel like at this point, Jimmy, like, and this is just my opinion, like you drafted a guy at 52, 53, you almost pigeonhole yourself to where, like, okay, you have to see this guy on the field or he has to produce some way, shape, or form because no one's going to be happy with a second-round pick just sitting on the bench the entire season. So regardless of whether people want to see him or not, I don't really want to see him on the field, but again, I think he almost has to, if that makes sense. I think he has to be on the field in some capacity. He's not going to be there for Wentz. He's not going to be there taking Wentz's spot by any means, but I think he has to contribute in some form or fashion, whether it even be like just a creative misdirection play or something like that, or like a tossback flea flick or something like that. But again, I think the organization and Howie Roseman in particular have forced themselves to put themselves in an uncomfortable position to where you're probably going to end up seeing Jalen Hurts in some capacity.
Now, do you think of the same note, like that same token, though, because he was such a high draft pick, a second-round pick, do you think that they're also thinking, like, dear God, if we put him out there and he gets killed, then we never have any kind of trade bait? So, yeah, you bring up great points, but, I mean, it's like, Jesus Christ.
So that falls under the same scenario. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Exactly, and that's why it was a great poll question, because, you might feel a certain way, but other people feel very strongly another way. And I think Tom feels strongly about this. Popped on, I thought he was going to say something, so I wanted to hear what you had to say about this one, man.
I was letting you guys finish it off, but no, I mean, I don't need to play him because I don't ever need to play him if my quarterback's grooving. So if my quarterback's grooving, he becomes a moot point, and it just becomes more of a reason why you draft him. So I'm not in the role to take my guy off the football field in any capacity. Not saying Jake would, you know what I mean? And Jake was talking different roles, you know what I mean? But there's no other role for him. They brought him in to be a quarterback. They're going to develop him to be a quarterback. I don't think that they're in a rush to play him. And as long as 11 plays well, you won't hear about him.
Right.
So the only time you're going to hear about him is if 11 doesn't play well from the idiots. So at the end of the day, he's not
ready.
It
anyway.
He's not ready at the NFL level. He's not ready. He's just not ready yet. So I think it's just a conversation that just has had to be had because people want to talk about him. But it's a wasted pick as of right now. Now, that can always change. But right now, it's a wasted pick. So I can't run from the goddamn wasted pick by our general manager again. The fact that we even have a conversation about our second quarterback. You got a third, and then you got a guy at home in Texas who's a quarterback getting paid to be home. Like I love the signing of him, but like, how many quarterback really is this really the fact that we're really doing this? We really got to this point to even have this conversation, which is crazy. Because you really lost trust. Like, you've done this twice as an organization. You know, you've done it with Zach Ertz, drafting his replacement in the second round after a Super Bowl hero. You've done it now with Carson Wentz in a way, where you've almost drafted a replacement, air quote. So, I mean, I'm all for competition, okay? In spots, right? In spots. Now, it's going to get into a later conversation that disconnected this organization from top to bottom. But if 11 balls out, to answer the question, if 11 balls out, he's a mute issue to the idiots. And the only time it becomes an issue is when if he doesn't play well one week, and then people start talking, because there's so many morons out there that I expect to chatter. Hence why I didn't like the pick even more. If my quarterback's 33, then I sort of like the pick, right? Like, oh, a little future. Okay, a little future.
Yeah.
You just signed them.
Yeah.
So we'll talk. We'll get to that later on.
Stupid as hell.
But right now, you shouldn't see the football field.
Yeah.
Nope. And I think that, you bring up very great points there. And it's, Jake brought up a great point. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And I think no matter what, we're all still going to be pissed off no matter what that you wasted a damn second round pick on a quarterback. So
it won't matter if we play well. It won't matter.
Exactly. So either way, at the end of the day, the pick will suck, but they need to get over that by winning this football game, which I hope that they do that. Ralph, how are you seeing that, man?
Oof. Well, here we are. Do we see Jalen Hurts? You know what? I'm going to go out on the limb. I'm going to say I think we do see Jalen Hurts a little bit on Sunday. I really do. I think it might be a couple plays here and there, but nothing too big. But we all know what happens when Jalen steps on the field, and if Carson, like Tommy said, if Carson has a bad game or a couple bad weeks, Jesus Christ, it's never going to end in this city with the whole Carson Wentz slander and the Jalen Hurts pick and stuff like that. But and piggybacking off of what Jake said too, you spent a second round pick on a guy that majority of the time is going to be sitting your bench behind your franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
That you just paid, as Tom said.
You just paid 2 years ago. So, I mean, the thought process going into that on draft night is something that I will never understand. But on Sunday, I would not be surprised if you see him. I would not be surprised.
Okay. I like it.
You want to be surprised Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
What happened?
He thinks he might see him.
I think they might have a couple plays with him, dude. I'm telling you.
That's how I look at it, Ralphie.
Okay. Brian,
I mean, you
going to break the tie here?
Even though he's a backup quarterback, Tommy, he's your second round pick. I know you want to rub your forehead and scratch your eyes, and I'm telling you, dude, this is how the Eagles work.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, what are your thoughts on this?
I could rant and rave.
Apparently, someone likes your reaction. So you're also laughing at people that say Taysom Hill. I love it. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, when he said on the night we obviously drafted Jalen Hurts, and he said they're going to put him into a Taysom Hill role, I almost threw this freaking computer through the window just off screen here.
Oh, I love you, Ryan.
Just in the sheer terror of that happening, and not because it was a bad comment by Philly guy. It was just kind of a realization of what kind of world we live in right now as Eagles fans. But I can rant and rave about how idiotic the pick was. But I do think we're going to see him. I do think we're going to see him just based off. And again,
round number, Tom.
And I'm not saying we should see him, but if there's one thing we know about Doug Peterson, Mr. Big Balls, Doug Peterson, Crusher Peterson himself. All right. He loves to puff his chest and show how creative he can be with his offense.
And shove it up people's asses.
Yep. So if they got to a point where they're up 10, 13, it could be a random 4th and 1. Like, I could see them pulling out the stop to where they go for 2 in the red zone, and it's a Jalen Hurts type of a play. I really do. I don't think we're going to see a lot of him.
I know what you're saying, guys, but why? My quarterback can do all them plays.
Yep. Look at what is he, 72 touchdowns and like 2 interceptions in his years in the red zone?
I don't want to take him out of the damn red zone. I don't want to take him off the field.
People keep talking about that. That's outrageous.
I don't ever want to take him off the field. I don't want to take him off the field. Well, he can do everything that the fidget spinner can do. Okay,
I love that comment. I'm glad we got to that.
He can roll out of the pocket. All right, he can make guys miss. He can run off for a 15 piece. Right, he can do everything he can do, except he has a better arm and can read defenses better right now. So I don't even want him touching the field. If he's touching the field, that means my quarterback's down. That's when he touches fields. He touches fields and my quarterback goes down. Yeah. He's here to be a quarterback. Let him develop to be a quarterback. Right now, he's not ready to see the field. Not ready to see the field yet. Not when I got a franchise quarterback. You don't take $100 million off the field.
Yeah,
at the quarterback position.
I don't think any of us disagree with that, but given the pick, it's about what the team's going to do. If you're running the team, Ralph, me,
I was just that stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's
quarterbacks in the past here. I know under Andy, but they've drafted quarterbacks in the past here who didn't touch the field. And I know there were different style quarterbacks, and we look at Hurts because he can move around, and
they're stupid enough to keep him on the bench.
Like I think they really drafted him. Listen, this is what I'm hoping for, okay? Because then it gets a little college football-ish, and I got no time for that, all right? But what I hoped, guys, was that they drafted him, to really develop him, not to put him on the damn field. That's why it's more of a wasted pick.
I think I don't.
It's not a first-round pick. Remember, guys, it's not a first. It's still high, but it's not your first. If you're going first, then, hey, he got to play. You know what I mean? Then I'm like really on the side of he has to play. But as a second and later, it's like I don't like it, but he doesn't need to play. He should be a guy who can be impactful, but he doesn't need to be.
I'll preface by saying the logic of what you're saying is not incorrect at all. We agree. We're on the same wavelength.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But But the reason why I could see them doing something other than, again, what they should be doing,
Be unconventional,
and putting on the field, is because of this. I truly believe, based off of how they're saying he's a high IQ guy, that's why they picked him, as far as his ability to pick up numerous roles at once. I think their plan is that they're going to eventually mold him into a potential, hopefully not, replacement for Carson if the worst ends up happening years down the line. But while they're waiting for that, they're going to use him in this Michael Vick-esque 09, 2010 type role, and they believe that he can handle that. Again, they shouldn't do that, because why would you play games with somebody you want to put like I'll give you the perfect example. And again, we're comparing a first-round pick to a second-round pick, but again, like you said, Tom, both high. It would be like Jordan Love for the Packers. Again, not the dynamic, running type quarterback that Jalen Hurts is, but it would be like, hey, we don't plan on using you for another 3 years, but while we're waiting, we're gonna have you play wide receiver since we only have Devontae Adams. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense. But everything that the Eagles have done and not done this offseason has really not made too much sense.
Yeah, but again, no, guys, it's like it's your franchise quarterback. Like, that's a hard position to take off the field, period. And especially in this city. So, like, I don't know.
Like you said, he'd have to be struggling.
I'm not saying there's not a role for him in week 7, 8.
Exactly. Later,
that there isn't a role, and they don't have a little roll wrinkle that they roll out once in a while. But like, I find it just hard pressed early on.
A rookie, yeah.
Like, I got to get my quarterback playing well, right? Before it's like a pitcher. Like, I ain't gonna take him out. You know what I mean? So like that. So I got to get him his throws. But the fact of the matter is, like, I need him playing well before I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? I got to think the psyche. Think psyche, right, boys?
Yeah.
I got to get him playing well before I can dabble with that experiment. That's why I don't see it this week. Now, listen, I could be totally out of line with it, and he could be freaking, next thing you know, he's got all these gadget plays, okay? But I'm just trying to think about it like a psyche. Like, we going to do that? We doing that? I need him throwing 4 TDs this week, 3 next week, and 4 the week after. And then I'm like, yo, I'm cool. You want to roll him out a little sprinkle? Sure, then. Right now. Wait, I'll go find Howie Roseman to backhand him. You understand? I'll go find Howie Roseman to backhand him. That means it's an override. Because I don't believe Doug Peterson thinks like that. Doug Peterson thinks psyche guy. That's why the team always plays well down the stretch, right? Because he gets them going. He's a psyche guy. He's a leader. I just can't see him pulling his franchise quarterback off the field for anything, especially in the red zone.
That's why you talk about later weeks, and I like what you said there. I don't think right away, and that's what I'm saying. I don't think you guys are in the wrong. I think that he'll definitely have a part at some point, because you got to show off what you got if you plan on trading him or whatever the hell you want to do with him, but he's a second-round pick. So I agree, but as Tom was saying, especially this year without a training camp, I think it's a little risky.
All I'm saying is I hope that we don't see the Doug Peterson for Miami week that tried to turn Jake Elliott into John Elway on that fake field goal. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If we let that Doug Peterson stay down in Miami, we're gravy. It's beautiful, because then we're not going to play games. But we know that little it's like you've got the evil side and you've got the good side. You know what I'm saying? That creative genius Doug Peterson, he might creep in if he sees, hey, we've got 14-point lead. Let's have some fun. I just wouldn't be shocked. I'm not rooting for it. I just wouldn't be shocked.
Well, that's a different story. Then we're talking about the quarterback playing well, right away.
That's what I'm saying. I see them doing that if we have a lead. That's my only point. I don't think it's close.
Listen. If we didn't have weapons coming into this year, or at least thinking we do, and we had to be gadgety. Then I so get it. But we have a franchise quarterback who can do everything in and out of the pocket better than Jalen Hurts can. So until he can't, like, not that you guys are saying the other way, you know what I mean? I'm just talking to how I feel about it. Until he can't, then it's not even a conversation. I don't even want to see him. Like, just hold the clipboard, learn the game, learn it.
Do you think? Here's a good question. Do you think we have a better chance of seeing Jalen Hurts on a trick play or Greg Ward? Because you got a guy like Greg Ward. If you want to see yourself with a little trickery, Why not do something with him?
Greg Ward's a perfect example. Yeah, I mean, Greg Ward can get an end around, but if you bring Jalen Hurts in the game for an end around, everybody knows what's going on. Everybody in the country knows what's going on. We at home go, he's getting that
home in. Yep. And maybe I was actually going to say earlier, maybe you try some misdirection stuff, but either way, they're going to have calls for both because they're going to be watching what the hell he's doing, and you're going to bring attention to something. So either way, I think it's going to take a few weeks. I think they're going to need to work on him a little bit more, but I love it, guys. I mean, it's great stuff. We talked a little bit earlier. I know that Kendall Fuller is doubtful, but they've got Moreau, Moreland. I know a couple guys were banged up, but we'll see come Sunday who's actually out. But they've got a banged up secondary too. So we talked about that a little bit earlier, Turbo, and we talked about Carson. We all agreed that we think he's going to go for over 300, and he did it last year, and he's got more weapons this year. No, you guys just love the negativity. I don't understand it. Just watch some tape and understand that this kid's awesome. He's going to have an awesome game. I can't wait to see
it. Can I tell you something, Jimmy? Can I tell you something about Jalen Rager? The other Jalen. Is that
the other Jalen.
It's an unknown until you see a guy hit the field, right? And everybody knows that. And on draft day, I was very adamant about Jerry Jeudy and the guy who I wanted. And it didn't come down to that. So anything else is going to be a little disappointing to me.
Understand.
But what transpired here since him getting hurt and expected to miss the first 2 weeks, but ready to go week one. Let me tell you something about 1-2, right? And pedigree and daddy played ball, right? Let me explain this to people. So we're seeing the toughness. Toughness can get you to where you need to be at any level in sports, right? In a 1-2, and I think we're seeing that. So that's intrigued me more into believing in him early on, when I also know how hard it is for a young wide receiver. So I'm trying to limit expectations to a point and be real about the kid. But
I love it.
But it has grown on me that the talk and the walk seem right. The talk and the walk seem right. And now toughness added on to a talk and a walk. Now the only thing left for you to do is go show me you can play.
That's it. Yeah. And that's something, we're going to get to. That's obviously I'm a little bit excited about that. Obviously, we brushed on it earlier, but let's really talk about what that meant, and that's a great point, Tom, bringing that up. That changed a lot of people's minds. Somebody called me out. They're like, how would you compare him to a young Steve Smith? I said, I think you're missing that this kid's tough as hell. And when he first got hurt, that was something I mentioned. Everybody's like, what an idiot. And the thing I was pissed about was the coaches. You need to be calling that play dead. Now, the thing is, it showed that this kid, even in a practice, it was the second scrimmage, the last one they were going to have. So this kid was balling out, trying to make a play for his team, and you would want him to if it was preseason. You want to see these kids play. They're trying to prove something. So to see him do that, I was like, okay. But now, dude, he's back. This kid is tough as nails. And I have been trying to say it. And Tom, to hear you say it, I love it, dude. And I think other people are starting to realize that. And, a lot of those guys, also wanted other people. And I can't blame you for that because there's so many players I want certain years. So I know exactly what you're talking about. So kind of a little bit of a blinder, a little bit.
Can he be like a little bit a bigger version of Tyreek Hill more than these other? I'm asking guys who have watched him a ton. Like I've watched highlights, cute. You know what I mean? I've watched him play TCU a bunch of times, probably because I was gambling on something. But at the end of the day, I haven't overly watched him. But I mean, sort of just there's a vibe I get from him. Could he be like a little bit bigger version of a Tyreek Hill more than a Steve Smith? Like Steve Smith, that's a Hall of Famer. It's tough to compare.
Well, that's why I say young Steve Smith. I always put young at the front of that because people have to understand. I don't think he's anywhere near what Steve Smith was. That's one of the best receivers I've ever watched. You talk about toughness, grit, a guy that came in and just every day showed you what it's like to be a real professional. And that guy, he's one of my favorites ever watching. And, I compared him to that because of that toughness factor. That's why I had to add someone like him. But you have to remember that Steve Smith always wasn't like that right away. It took him a little time, and I've always followed him, and I love this story. So it reminded me of him when he was young. If this kid follows that same exact path, and he doesn't have Jake Delhomme throwing it to him, he has Carson Wentz. So I really think that, this is going to be a great connection. And, what I saw from him was not just the toughness, it's the fact that, Ryan kind of alluded to, all of us, have talked about the fact that he's a, guy that can return. He can run the ball. He can do this. But it's the fact that he's not just a speedy receiver. So somebody had my one buddy compared him to Tyreek Hill. And I said, well, the reason I can't say that is due to the fact that, and like you said, he's a little bit tougher, a little bit bigger. And it's like, exactly. That's why I had to say Steve Smith. What the comparison I'll give is he will be the Tyreek Hill of this offense, whereas Andy Reid has Tyreek. Doug Peterson's going to be playing with his new toy, Jalen Reagor. And this kid, so yes, it's a good comparison in that, but he's going to be a guy I think that could line up at more than just that Z position. You know what I mean? So great question. How do you guys feel about
bigger? That's why I meant like bigger, like the speed, the burst.
Yeah, exactly. And do you see how fat, dude? Because, okay, so here's the thing. Not only is he fast as shit, and I mean blazing. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's young Deshaun Jackson. Yes! So he's got that speed. But he's actually got hands. People, he didn't have hands. Third lowest on-target pass percentage last year, 27.3% with Max Duggan throwing on the ball at TCU. Trash! 6 different quarterbacks. The kid, it was a shit show. I'm telling you, with a good quarterback, a good offensive line, good receivers around him, been practicing against good players, he's getting better. It's going to take a little time to be that elite guy we want him to be, but that's why we say, Steve Smith. So great question, Tom, because it's something I think people are missing out there. They're like, it's just a speedy guy, and we all know what happens with them. It's Shelton Gibson. It's Nelson Aguilar. No, motherfucker, I'm telling you, the kid can do it all. Work on all 3 levels. He's going to open the field up, not just hitting it. They're going to be like, oh, this shit. When this kid, watch how loose his hips are. Watch his feet. When he makes a cut, you're like, wait, what just happened? You feel like your ankles just broke. I'm telling you, people are going to shit their pants when they see the first touchdown. They're like, oh, okay, let me just go ahead and take all that. Touchdown city, baby. I really see this going nuts. Ryan, why don't you let us know how you're feeling about that, man?
Well, I think the perfect comparison you brought up is that, it seemed like, oh, bye, Jimmy, that there were so many different, not only the Eagles, but everyone was trying to copy.
Jimmy got excited.
No. I think Jimmy just ran on the field. I think he just ran on the field to try and catch Jalen. There he is. He's back. Let me bring him. Jimmy, did you run on the field?
Tired of hearing what you have to say.
Jimmy, I thought you ran onto the field for a second.
I did. I got pissed. I'm just, the emotions are running high. I actually, I had to calm myself down for it. No, I don't know why it keeps doing that to me. But go ahead, brother. I'm so sorry about that, man.
No. You're good. You're good. We all talk about how this is a copycat league. You know what I'm saying? That obviously, it seems like the NFL has been trying to copy what the Kansas City Chiefs have been doing, not only this offseason, but ever since, that offense really has taken form with the speed, and obviously the quarterback with, that obviously has mobility and also has a big arm like Mahomes and, and like Wentz. So when going all the way back to before even the draft, Howie Roseman kept preaching, and that was the one thing that we can go back and say, oh, well, Howie was actually telling the truth with this. He said, hey, we want speed, especially after the, 3-4 seasons when you looked at Carson Wentz, you said, okay, the one thing that this offense doesn't have, speed. And we kind of, we thought we addressed it last year when we brought in Deshaun Jackson, and the year before when we brought in, and it feels like this was like 80 years ago, but remember when we brought in Mike Wallace and he lasted like 1 game? Yep. Like that was their plan. They wanted to add kind of like a better version of what Torrey Smith was in 2017, just a guy to obviously open up, the field for guys like Aguilar and Zach Ertz and the tight ends and et cetera. That was their plan, but times 10 to where speed would become the offense. It would become not just a distraction, not just something that can open up, not just an accessory to the offense. It would become the offense. So
like Andy.
They were, so like we talked about before, and we were frustrated. I mean, going all the way back to the draft, I wanted Jalen Reagor. That's who I thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get like at 28 because I thought I bought into us trading back. So at the time, was I frustrated that we didn't trade up to get the big names like CeeDee Lamb and, and obviously Jerry Jeudy? Yes, I was. But now looking full picture here and seeing what they're trying to do, I truly believe, and I think we can all agree with this and tell me if I'm wrong here, that Howie Roseman and the organization valued a guy who fit better into the offense instead of somebody who was that pedigree type guy that was, the big name type thing, to where you can see Jerry Jeudy or a CeeDee Lamb, but I'll just say Jerry Jeudy because I know we're all high on him, that he can fit into any offense because there's nothing he doesn't really do. But you look at Reagor and says, hey, he can do everything as well, but he masters the thing that we're trying to get better at and the thing that matches our offense. So like I talked about before, the one criticism I could say about Jalen Reagor is that, hey, and the one thing I'll tell the people at home that say, hey, he's not going to have a better career than CD or Jerry Jeudy or even Henry Ruggs, even though I don't really believe in the Henry Ruggs hype too much, is this. It doesn't matter what they're doing as long as Jalen Reagor has the type of career he's designed to have in this system. We can't help that Jerry Jeudy's going to do his thing in Denver or CeeDee Lamb is going to do his thing in Dallas. Yeah, what matters is if he turns into the guy who buys in, and clearly he's bought in, and it seems like he's going up against all the odds, especially against the friggin' medical staff, because he survived an injury and he shows up.
He beat the biggest battle.
I know. Like, listen, he's already a winner before he even steps onto the field because he beat the one thing that nobody else could.
Yeah.
I really do believe, while he may not be the best pure receiver in this draft, it's going to overweigh just based off of he matches everything we're trying to do.
We talk about it. That's literally, it's a great question because that's literally the month before the draft where I got to make the video breaking it down. That is my point. He may not be the best. He's not going to show you those videos you're watching online like, oh, Jerry, holy shit, CD, did you see this, that? No. This kid fit perfectly into the system. It's exactly what, I kind of alluded to it earlier, saying, the Tyreek Hill of this offense. This is going to be Andy's new toy. And, you said it where this whole offense wants to be like that. And we've been talking about, Jake and I last couple of weeks, how we've been yearning for this kind of receiver because of the fact that, you mentioned, those are the names we've brought up. Mike Wallace, Shelton Gibson, you're trying to make up for what you had in Torrey winning the Super Bowl, but better, right? Mm-hmm. So last year we drafted Arthega-Whiteside. He needs to replace Jeffrey. So we talked about this year. We have to get a speedy receiver. We have to, but I don't want just speed. I want someone who can catch, who can actually take a hit, who's going to be tough. That's this guy. So I'm really excited. So you hit the nail on the head there. I think that's exactly why they drafted him. That's who they felt comfortable with. And maybe they could have traded back, but maybe he wouldn't have been there. I think they felt so strongly about it that they were like, we got to pull the trigger. This is that kid that's going to change the game. Just like when the Chiefs drafted Tyreek Hill, people were like, oh, and now look, everybody's like, oh, shit. But he's going to be much different, like Tom had asked. He's stronger. He's better.
It doesn't matter what the other guys do if he's successful.
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, it only matters what the other guys do if he's not successful.
Him and Carson.
At the end of the day, nobody knows yet until we see him play. You know what I mean? And you hope he hits, because if he doesn't, it's just – it really puts this organization in a tough spot moving forward. So he has to hit. He has to be electric. He has to have star qualities. You know what I mean? He has to, because this organization needs a youth movement of talent and needs it quickly. So
especially right there.
Play, boys.
Yeah. And Ryan, Tom, I'm not sure if you caught it, but he was saying that, he was saying, that's exactly it. You have to hit on him. And even, I saw someone mention Hightower, like, I don't think he's starting, but you need to hit on all these guys because we need it. And you've been sucking so badly that the only way we're going to forgive you and not come for you is if you hit on a couple of them. And we need Reagor to definitely be one, because you didn't take Justin Jefferson. You didn't take some of these linebackers. Some of these great players are out there. So I believe in him, and it doesn't mean anything though. We've all seen his tapes. Who cares?
Listen, the other guys don't even need to be good if this guy's that productive. Like if he's that productive.
Well, exactly. He won't be starting Hightower.
Yeah, the guy you think he is, and he's a number one wideout down the road, and has that ability and that star ability, then the other guys don't matter. Then it's a win of a draft. Like if you come out of a draft with a star, you won a draft.
Right. Ralph, how are you feeling about that, man?
Jalen is a first-round pick, and I hope he shows out. But like you guys were talking about with the draft situation, it's just that going into that draft, I just thought that Ruggs and CD and Jerry Jeudy were just those top three guys that could just come in and change your wide receiver room with a snap of a finger and be a star in this league. I mean, we've seen it when they were playing through college. And then, Jalen came out of nowhere, the last 2 weeks building up into the draft. You heard, Eagles are attached to Jalen Reagor, and we thought, they were going to go a different way and go Justin Jefferson, or, I hope they would have went Patrick Queen.
They watched the video. I appreciate all of them. But no, I saw that. I was like, oh, y'all motherfuckers want to jump on now. Okay. Because they're like, oh, Jalen Reagor. I'm like, no. That's mine, motherfucker. So that's beautiful. Jake, how are you feeling about that? Oh, go ahead,
real
Rob.
Quick. But like what Tommy was saying, like you hope that Jalen can hit, because the two guys that were right in your lap on draft night that you could have traded up and drafted, if they become stars and Jalen Reagor becomes just a guy in this league, nothing special, it's going to look very, very bad on Howie Roseman.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll be done. If this doesn't hit, dude, it's over. Like, that's, you have to. Like this, and I don't think this was just his pick, though.
But I tip my cap to Jalen Reagor for playing, man. The injury report coming out with the shoulder, 2 to 4 weeks, and the dude's rehabbing, physical therapy, and every day. Now he's practicing with full pads. He's ready to go for Sunday. I tip my cap tip my cap to him because that's big respect. Big respect to Jalen Reagor.
Has to be a star. I don't want to put the pressure on the kid, but he has to be a star.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why they drafted him. You got to take that risk when you look at a guy like him, but you better hope it's right. But I think, it's not just Howie. It was Doug. It was everybody, This is the kind of kid that fits what they're looking to do, and it's going to be exciting. Jake, how are you feeling about that? And just
going back on draft, my bad, Jake. Did not cut you up or anything. Just go back. I just think the reason why Jalen got so much shit on draft night when we selected him is because of the fact that Jerry was still there and CD was still there.
Yeah, you're right.
You could have made moves and went up and
the
got
Cowboys, right? And the Cowboys got CD. That's what made it so hard.
Yeah. I just think that's why Jalen on draft night number 1 just got so much shit for that pick. Right? Because we all thought it was either those 3 or Justin Jefferson, and then Reagor comes out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. I totally understood why people were pissed. They're like, "Why are you so happy?" Like they wanted to kill me. I'm like, "Hey, motherfucker!" So I get it, dude. I do, and I don't hate on anyone because those receivers are awesome. So I think that it's much, dude. It's understandable. It really is. So nobody has to. It's just if you better hit on it then, because now everyone's like, but this guy. It's just a loaded draft, man. So it's very scary to sit back. It's a great point. Hello to Brooklyn. Earlier, wanted a little shout out and thank you so much to D Love. Which group was better, 17 to 20? This one will be better in my mind. Jake, we're gonna let you go here, brother. What are your thoughts on the Reagor situation?
Now, real quick before, no, I'm just kidding. Go
ahead. Love it.
No, but I mean, like you said, Jimmy, and like everybody said, it was the right fit. I mean, he fits exactly what we need, and I agree to Tom's point as well. He needs to be a top wide receiver, and he needs to be a star, plain and simple. Regardless of the rest of the draft picks, whether they pan out or not, Howie Roseman needs this to pan out. And also his draft from last year, talk about JJ and the others, they need to pan out as well. Exactly. Otherwise, if they just, say if theoretically Reagor has a season similar to what JJ had last year,
don't even put that even on there, dude.
Man.
Then I'm concerned.
It's not what? No, not even. So, how do you feel? Do you think that this core is better than 17?
See, with me, like on paper, I think it is, but again, it's one of those things where it's too determined. I have to see a couple games first. Yep. Right now,
it's just an on your heart question. So yeah,
right, yeah, no, absolutely, I get it, but it's obviously looking back at it. 2017, obviously, we know what happened with that, so I'm going to stick with 2017. I mean, could 2020 be better? Possibly, but again, that also means winning another championship. So
healthy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If this is healthy, we're playing Madden. It's healthy. You still have Alshon. Deshaun's better than Torrey. You got Greg Ward over Nelson Aguilar, and then you got Reagor and some speed. So,
yeah.
Do you think this is better than 17, Brian?
I definitely do. And say for example, let's just go to the week 1 roster. Take Alshon out of this, okay? Because I know what people are going to say. Oh, well, Alshon's not playing right now. Okay, that's fine. We'll play that exercise. We'll say Alshon not on the roster right now. So then you're saying, okay, is Deshaun, Greg Ward, a first-round pick, and Jalen Reagor better than 2017 Alshon, Nelson Aguilar, and Torrey Smith? Yes.
I'll even throw Arcega-Whiteside is better than Mac Hollins. So,
oh God, yeah, true.
Yeah,
because Mac was our 4th wide receiver at the time.
He's a bum, dude.
And don't forget in 2017 too. I mean, Torrey Smith disappeared for some weeks during that year.
All he did
he's not even close to Jackson.
Yeah, all he did was just run straight. He was like a decoy half of the season. Now he had. I will give him credit. He did show up in the Vikings game, and he has.
Dude, that catch.
He's a part of my favorite touchdown in Eagles history. So I love that, but. To Ralph's point, he was mainly just a decoy the entire year.
Like Tom said, though, we give those men love until they piss us off.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be better. I mean, this year should be better, guys. I mean, I don't see how it's not, but I mean, again, it's like Jake said, it's got to play out. I mean, I got to see it. You know, that core I saw. I mean, Nelson had a really good year in 2017.
He did. He really did.
Nelson had a monster year in 2017. So, you know what I mean? I got to see some guys now have them kind of years, which is expected.
Yeah. Ralphie, how are you feeling about that, man?
I agree. I think 2020 roster wide receiver core is way better than it is on 2017. Yeah. I mean, Ryan touched on it. I mean, your fourth string was Matt Collins, who got into about one game every season since he was in Philadelphia. So there's only one little highlight play was that deep ball that Wentz threw him in that Monday night game. So that was basically it. His only highlight in Philadelphia. So I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna go 2020 for wide receivers.
Okay. Hey, we mentioned Greg Ward. We mentioned him.
Yeah. Is Matt Collins even still on a roster?
Dolphins.
Wow, they kept him.
He's still with the Dolphins. Yes.
He is. He made it special teamer, man.
I think.
That's perfect for him. He would rather be a special teamer than a wide receiver.
Exactly. Yeah. Do his dancing. What are you gonna say, Ralph?
I say no. Watch him just become an All-Pro now.
Oh yeah, that's what happens to the Eagles.
Miami becomes an All-Pro.
Now, one thing I wanted to say, Trey Burton or Dallas. What do you? Oh, back in well, that's not receivers. We're talking about receiving core. Now, if you're talking about tight ends, yeah, sure, we had Trey Burton, but dude, Goddard's better than Trey Burton, and you know, if Richard Rodgers could stay healthy, you know, that's gonna be a great 3 tight end tandem there. So. I think that's much better. But one thing I did want to get to before we end here, you know, is what the hell is going on with the Eagles right now? A week before the season starts, we got Jason Peters. I want more money. I didn't ask for it when I signed, well, knowing I could have been playing left tackle soon. Oh, guess what? You are. Then I got Lane Johnson being a true hero, going out and restructuring because he's trying to save money. Then you got Zach Ertz coming out left foot. Well, you know, it's been frustrating. And, you know, I know it's only a few days till game day, but I'm pissed. And, you know, I'm playing this season like it's my last. Thanks, asshole. So now we've got everyone losing their minds, flipping out, punching shit because, well, now we've got our best. Yeah, he's not a receiver, but the best guy catching passes for us. He is now telling us that this could be his last year. Oh, yeah, everyone's just supposed to feel great. Carson, hey, buddy, we just drafted a guy in the second round to replace you, and now we're pissing off your favorite weapon. How are you feeling? Okay, guys, if you're Carson Wentz, how are you feeling right now? Because I'm a little bit pissed.
Oh, see you, Jimmy.
So fitting.
Clip that. 156, right on the minute.
He hit the button. He hit the button again.
Okay, look, I'm getting a little excited because I love my birds with all my heart, guys. Okay, I'm diehard just like the rest of these gentlemen here. Just getting a little excited because you can't be doing this shit a week before the season, man. You really can't. So please.
Well, it seems like every year it's been like that, right? 2017, you had the article, 3 hours before game time about Jim Schwartz walking around the NovaCare like he's going to take Doug Peterson's job. 18, you had the Carson Nick Foles drama. 19, you still have Carson Wentz drama. And then you had the snitching in the locker room last year. And now this. So it's like we never get away with the drama when it comes to game time with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'll just add this. I'll just add this one thing because I know Tom is going to go crazy in a second. So I'll just add this one little thing in. And I mentioned it on Wednesday. It confirms what we kind of already know and what we thought. It's that, and we kind of alluded to it earlier. This entire season, orchestrated by the top, and I don't even put Doug Peterson in there until this past week. Doug Peterson was he was free of this until this past week. It's been an offseason surrounded by lies. It's all lies. I mean, you start out with Alshon Jeffrey, and I know we talked about it, Tom, to where we really don't know. Like, I know Harry Roseman denied it and say it wasn't a thing, which to me confirms that it did happen because Howie is just a friggin' liar.
Yeah.
All offseason they're saying, oh, Alshon's going to be a big part of the offense. He's ready to be a leader again. We think, hey, he could be ready in September. Then right before the cut deadline, you hear this little report that the Eagles are going around in circles, and they're like, "Hey, you're going to take Alshon? We'll give you we'll take a 7th. We'll just take it. We'll take a 7th for Alshon. We'll take a 7th." Like they're just trying to sneak that in, trying to trade him last second. Didn't work. Okay, fine. Then you see Jason Peters not going to play Now apparently he goes into the office, gives Doug a big hug, then says, "Hey, I'll play left tackle. I've had a change of heart." Doug Peterson's talking about how excited he is, which is odd because last week, Doug, you were saying that you're comfortable with Matt Pryor and Jordan Mailata and this third guy that seems like, is he on the roster? I didn't know his freaking name. They're going to bring him in, and Jason Peters is going to be the right guard. So why are you so excited for something that you thought, hey, that doesn't even need to happen? But then you hear this little wrinkle a day later that, oh, he did get paid. That they go to Lane Johnson. Lane's like, listen, I'll just give you the money. I'll just give you some money. We'll just make everything. Like everything. What are we doing? What do you think we're not going to find out, Howie? Do you think we're not going to find out? We are Chargers fans. We're going to look into everything. We're going to hear stuff. I don't know why they have to treat the fans like we're friggin' five. Like we're not going to find anything out. Like it's an immediate contradiction with everything. And
you're going to find out from Derek Gunn that it's 2 days later.
Exactly.
Huh? I mean,
exactly. So
they already talked about it.
For their sake, I really hope it's an easy win on Sunday to where this becomes a moot point. But right now, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that we're doing this a week before the season.
Yep. Tom, my man, how are you feeling about these guys playing dances with the Wolves right now?
Well, it's bigger than what they're doing to us. Is what they're doing to their football coach here.
Exactly.
Because to me, it's like you don't trust, or is it a power trip again, Howie Roseman? Okay, because this is smelling all like a power trip with Howie Roseman again, and I'm pointing all the blame right to him. Okay, with the decisions, like after you won a Super Bowl, you go out and draft your replacement to your tight end. After you win a Super Bowl and he's Super Bowl hero, that's how you repay him. Okay,
game-winning touchdown.
All right, and the list goes on. I don't know what control Doug Peterson has inside this organization, or what Howie Roseman will allow him to have. You know, I feel like Howie Roseman got on the power trip again, and you can sort of smell it now, right? You can smell it. Just some of the things that have happened. You know, these are my coordinators. They're coming back. Boom. Now I understand that's coach speak, but this isn't just this. You know what I mean? This has been pretty much everything. This has been the whole thing. He'll say something, and then something else will come out like from the organization, like, nah. You know what I mean? We're going to override this, and to me that's concerning, because the one guy I do trust in this organization, and the one guy that will rally the troops, and the one guy that has always had this football team fighting has been Doug Peterson. Yep. Through all the drama, all the extra, Doug has always gotten us into the dance. You know, after his rookie year, has always gotten us into the dance. So I look at this football team the same, that he's going to get us into the dance, but I need an extension for Doug Peterson. I need them to show him loyalty, because they haven't showed many people loyalty in this organization. And they showed it, you know, they don't sign Brandon Graham unless they win a Super Bowl. They were forced into that signing. They were forced into it. Howie Roseman's hands were tied on that one. You couldn't let him walk, right, guys? You couldn't let Brandon Graham walk after that. So now your hands are tied. But this guy, I don't know, man. I just see the guy who came out of the closet, ate crow, and now it's the ego again. And I think now it's almost time to head back to the closet, because, to be honest with you, Doug Peterson needs Andy Reid carte blanche in this organization. When it comes to drafting, when it comes to free agent signings, when it comes to players he wants, okay? Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yep.
So, you know, you guys, everybody out there can take that for what it is. You don't have to like everything he does. But this guy's done nothing but a winner here.
Yeah.
And with less.
Exactly.
And with less.
You got to give them more. You can't be drafting these clowns and doing this to them. And then you drafting good players, but at positions you already have good players. Doesn't make any sense. Ralph, how would you feel? I mean, if you were in this situation, and how do you feel as a fan?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, and it makes you scratch your head, like what's really going on, you know, from top to bottom in the organization. I mean, Tommy hit the nail on the head with everything he said. I mean, you know, at the end of last year, the offseason press conferences with Doug, and, you know, him saying that the whole staff's coming back, and then not even an hour after that, the whole staff gets fired. Yeah. So it's like, what is really going on behind the scenes, and how much power or how much voice does Doug Peterson have in the roster, or just even saying, hey, we want this guy, just put his 2 cents into it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, great point. And I mean, it's worrisome. Like you said, a week before, it's like, what is going on? Where does it begin? And got a lot of people on the hot seat here in my mind. Jake, how are you feeling about that, man?
Yeah, I think kind of just building off of what Ralphie said, we've actually, believe it or not, we've seen this throughout the year. So remember Doug Peterson's first season as head coach, they didn't let him give his exit interview, his rookie season as a head coach.
Yeah, they didn't trust it.
Yeah, and then with certain things throughout the past couple of years, like Ralph, with a specific point touching on, oh, we'll keep the coaches gone. And then I think Doug said something else like a season or 2 prior, and it was the complete polar opposite. So it's just a combination of just I agree it's like a Howie ego thing, but I think Jeff also has some blame to it as well.
For sure.
So and I'm just, more than anything, I'm just worried if it's going to get to a boiling point. That's what I'm more worried about, whether Doug Peterson gets fed up and he starts speaking out to the media, and then it just starts a whole trickle-down effect to where people just start letting stuff out of the closet, and it's just one thing leads to another, and it's just something that's completely avoidable. You can handle in-house, but for whatever reason, they just want to air their laundry out in the public and just be like, oh, well, there's a bit of animosity towards Doug Peterson, or there's a disconnect, I should say, between Doug Peterson and the organization, which shouldn't be the case at all when your head coach gave you your first Super Bowl in team history. So it makes no sense. Hopefully it's just a rumor theoretically, but history's shown that it's probably not. There's some merit to it, but again, I just hope we don't hear it during the off season, or it's something that doesn't trickle into during the season to where it becomes more of an issue and the media picks up on it more. But again, I hope all that being said, I hope it just gets brushed under the rug and they handle it like gentlemen and deal with it like behind closed doors, and they don't.
You know what I think would fix it, Jake?
What?
A win on Sunday.
And another thing too, there shouldn't be a power struggle when you have a Super Bowl winning head coach on your team right now.
True that.
Okay, there shouldn't be a power struggle. When Doug Peterson won that Super Bowl, he should have gotten the keys to the Ferrari, the Bentley, the Lamborghini. He should have gotten all the keys to the team, because
I think it looks like he kind of did this year, don't you think? It maybe a little bit more with the speed.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
If he had.
I just felt like this was more him this time around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we all better pray it was.
You would hope so, yeah.
It's a great point stuff there, Ralph, because I mean, I'm scared. So we all, you all mentioned who knows like where it stems from, but it has to stem from the top, and that's Jeffrey Lurie. So you got to figure out what it is, because like Ralph just mentioned, everybody else talking, Doug Peterson is a Super Bowl winning coach. You need to give him the keys, let him decide what the hell he needs for this team. Oh, you clearly know what you're doing, because you won a Super Bowl in your second year while you were missing like 7 of your key players, dude, including your star quarterback.
And Jimmy, in not just 1 year, in 3 consecutive years, you were missing your key players, and
playoffs.
All 3 of those years, you made the playoffs.
Yep,
playoffs.
All 3 of them.
You're damn right.
What other coach right now in the NFL can do that?
Exactly.
That can go
Love it,
back to back to back, 3 consecutive years, missing key pieces on your offensive line, your defensive line, your secondary, and your wide receiving core, and make the playoffs in 3 consecutive years.
Yep.
I mean, if that doesn't smell amazing or a genius, then I don't know, man. Or a leader. I mean, I don't know. I just don't
Pop
know.
says here, maybe it's a little bit of that whole Chicago Bulls, going on with Jerry Krause and good old Phil Jackson down there, and I don't see that it's there, but it could get there. You never know if there's things happening behind closed doors. So, I mean,
it's getting there.
About it.
It's getting
exactly. You talk about you don't see it right now, but that's the things that you didn't see that either. You wait 20 damn years till you see a documentary. You're like, oh, shit. Like, now we all knew like there were some things there, but you don't know the real roots to it. Now, we'll probably find out one day, but like I was saying a little bit earlier, a good old win will help us forget about it, hopefully make the players feel a little bit better, and hopefully this doesn't become a distraction, because, hopefully Zach Ertz, you are playing like it's your last, and hopefully they're all doing that, and hopefully we go out, win a damn Super Bowl, and then we can worry about it later. Because if you're making this a distraction, and unfortunately we're in a world, where you have your Josina Andersons, your Elliott, you're going to have people that are going to be trolling straight. They don't know how to actually report. What they do is just ask questions that they know are going to bring straight fire, troll bait, anything to cause animosity. And they especially want to do it to Eagles players because the media and all the fans that aren't Eagles fans hate us. So anything they can do to divide us, they will probably be doing. So let's just hope we get a win and we can just brush all this shit away because we need to save it for next year. And hey, we've had shows where we talk about Ertz, we talk about all the other stuff. It's gonna come down to it, man. Howie, this is your year, man. You better this is it. If you didn't hit on these, especially Rager, you're done. So great show tonight, guys. I can't wait because next Sunday we're going to be talking about how great the victory was and how we're getting ready for LA and how it was hilarious how LA beat Dallas week 1 and now we're going to beat their ass. So it's going to be such a great time. And I had such a great time talking with you guys and everybody for joining in. Thank you all for the comments, questions. Thank you for the tips from you guys. I really appreciate everybody that supports us. We can't thank you enough. Tom, we all can't thank you enough for giving us this platform to do this and, just having such an awesome place for, the fans and all of us to come to and really get the best in sports. Really just anything you need to know. And this is for Eagles, man. If your heart desires a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of soccer, a little bit of baseball, hockey, whatever you need, you can find it at A2D Radio. You can also check out our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. You can find them at specializedphysicaltherapy.com in the Cherry Hill, Burlington, and Princeton locations. Also check out our gutter guys, the gutter guys of New Jersey, Ambuck Services, AMB. Ambuck, right? Like a buck, shooting a buck. Milwaukee.
And he's gone. And he's gone.
And he's gone.
He'll be right back.
He'll be back in a second. He's wrapping up the show. And Buck Services, right? South Jersey's gutter guys. And he's back.
One last thing. I'm going to make this last part for Service Electric. Called them earlier today, and I thought earlier when I clicked, I'm like, okay, cool. We're not going to have this problem. I was really pissed. We had a fantasy draft the other day. So upped my internet to double the speed. And yet here I sit once again. So an ass whooping because I'm pissed. They've got to come give me an extra box up here anyway for cable. We're going to have a great time. I hope you guys are going to tune into everything A2D is doing for the game. We're going to try to do some stuff for the game. You'll see. We're going to have some great things coming your way. Tune in tomorrow's shows, all that stuff. We're going to keep you ready, dude. And Sunday, check out Tom's show and everybody else. We're all going to be glorifying in the wind. If you guys can try to stay sane until then, let's do that. We are the greatest fans in the world. But I love you all. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Sorry for cutting out on you. I guess just making this thing overheat. No, I get it. But thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Jake. And thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Hope you guys all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Sunday. As always, go Birds!